All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Good Morning Xbox. I am your host, Axel1324.
And I'm Cool Cat Terry.
I'm Dreadpool.
All right. Dreadful, I love the new background that you got going on over there. Which nebula is it?
I don't even know, but I got that one too.
Ooh, Dreadful in space. I love it. I love it. The space theme. Of course, it is early access weekend for those of you with Starfield who decided to pay the big bucks. And for those of you that didn't, it's okay. It's okay. You guys will get to play here soon. One of the greatest games ever made, at least according to most people. But we'll get into that. Let's check in with everybody in the chat. Up first, we got the Doggy Dog 420 says, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Doggy Dog. Hope you're having a good morning because you're gonna have a terrible morning next week when you lose that fantasy football." Just saying. Hashtag go Broncos. Let's see. We got Your Wicked Hot. He's coming in. He says, "Good morning, Doggy. Good morning, Your Wicked Hot. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP." And by the way, Doggy Dog, even though you're going to lose, you're still the real MVP. Forgot to mention that. Let's see. Who else we got in the chat? Oh, snap. Doggy Dog putting out the deals. Game Pass Ultimate 3 month codes are $31.49 right now on Amazon. Go get some. Ain't going to get any cheaper than that anymore. When you're right, you're right. I might have to go jump in and get one. Crazy Greek Dude says, F1. Good morning, all listening to y'all watching F1 and cooking up a storm. Hey, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. And dreadful hashtag the Bears from SNL. But it's been another week. Terry, what have you been playing all week?
It's just been I'm trying to remember. I think it's just been Titan Quest. I can't remember if I touched into anything else. I think it's just been Titan Quest still. I'm trying to get that one finished because I really hate having multiple games started. So I think it's hard for me to remember. I think it was just Titan Quest. Pretty sure.
All right, Titan Quest. How is it?
I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really good. I'm on Act 4. There's 5 total. Trying to get the Atlantis DLC done at the moment. But yeah, overall, I think I'm mostly done with the game. I'm just, but I've been enjoying it. Like I said, multiple times. I think it's better than Diablo 4. I just don't have any fun with Diablo 4.
There you go. More fun than Diablo 4. All right. And, that's okay. That's okay. Diablo 4 is not the only action RPG dungeon crawler there is. Right. Dreadful, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Photographer. The Baby Metal concert with Deathlock. Yeah.
I'm seething with envy over here.
So as you can tell, I'm a little mellow right now, and I'm exhausted. But yeah, had a good time with that, and that was for the Photographer for GQTV. And on top of that, I have been playing Starfield when I got a chance, and that was it. Mostly work, Starfield, and then this. So yeah, exciting times.
Well, did you get your Starfield watch?
No, it is actually on the in Florida somewhere. Supposed to be delivered last night, and it
was.
It did not leave the facility until 6 o'clock to head over to my facility. So I'm still waiting to find out where it's at.
Well, ain't that a bunch of bologna?
Yeah.
Hopefully it didn't get impacted by the hurricane.
No, we shipped it after. But yeah, there could be a backup. But it was guaranteed.
Places are flooded and things. So
not where we're at here.
All right. Well. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not the normal box that you would be expecting for somebody to be like, "Hey, let's pick this off and somehow lose this."
Is it
that box? I wrapped that entire box
USPS.
with so much tape.
USPS.
Mainly to be a pain in the butt to Dreadpool, so he has trouble opening it.
There's no trouble when you got a sharp blade. But
So,
yeah, I can't
I
wait
hope
to
it gets there. Now,
open it. It should be here today. I just
I
gotta
did put
track
way
it.
more money than it's worth on insurance.
Good.
Oh goodness.
Good.
So at least if something happens,
Yeah.
you will recoup the cost.
Yeah. I mean, all things considered, even though I paid for that part of the shipping, I paid more than everybody else, but at the same time, I didn't pay scalper prices.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm okay with that because I didn't. Yet again, I might not have been able to buy it from anybody else without being scalped.
Yeah. So hopefully it gets there. I'm a little sad it didn't get there now. So yeah.
That's
Well,
fine. At least I'll be awake when it arrives.
there you go. Let's keep checking in with the chat. Doggy Dog says, "Hello, next Sunday is going to be a great day. Going to be full of W's."
Woo!
Yep. Let's see. Oh, my beautiful wife, Luis Vian, comes in. She says, "Mr. Axel and Miss Cool Cat Terry, hats are the same hat." That's right.
Yes.
This is the official Good Morning Xbox hat, apparently, with Velocity architecture. So yeah, our hats are the same. And again, thank you so much for my lovely wife for your support. You are the MVP of my life. And she says, hopefully everything goes well. Yes, we hope so too. All right, let's get right into it, guys. So I saw a tweet from Clobrio here. Let me see if I can do this correctly here without ruining everything. I saw a tweet from Clobrio saying that Xbox has hired Mena Sato Kato. Sorry if I butchered your name. From as director for partnerships in Japan, responsible for leading partnerships worldwide for Japanese publishers at Xbox. Previously, she had 8+ years of leading roles at Sony Interactive Entertainment, PlayStation Japan. So, scalping, we got her.
She was the vice president of mobile business for Sony Interactive Entertainment. Think about that.
Mm.
So, not only Japanese games, but you're talking about mobile games.
Yeah.
So she's going to have a lot of experience to help guide and also nurture Japanese games.
I hope so. I haven't done too much research into Minasato Kato, and this comes via Xtas One TV. I kind of don't want to open stuff on stream without looking through it first. So this guy does appear to be a news type of guy. He's Spanish. He's a Spanish news guy for Xbox, so he broke this, and Xbox eventually confirmed it. So this is legitimate. What are your hopes for Minasato Kato in Japan for partnerships? Keyword here is partnerships. What are your hopes there? Terry, do you have any Japanese hopes from Xbox?
Not particularly, but I mean, I feel like this would be a good way. I think the main goal here is to help bridge that gap, since Xbox isn't, that big brand over in Japan.
Right.
So like this could help if it's her job to try to find like partnerships with Japanese publishers. This is a good way to kind of bridge that gap and hopefully bring more Japanese studios to create games for Xbox, and hopefully make it to where people are going to want to invest in Xbox over in Japan, because it's just Xbox is like an afterthought in Japan. So this is good stuff, and since she does have that history with the mobile side, this she could also have some insight probably to help with cloud and stuff like that too.
Yeah, let's see. Let's check out. This comes from Windows Central, of course. My favorite Xbox news website is Windows Central. And this is Minasato Kato right here. Right, so Minasato Kato worked previously as the vice president of mobile business for Sony Interactive Entertainment. She was with Sony for about 8 years before leaving in 2021. So she's been chilling for 2 years or doing something else for 2 years. According to an announcement on her LinkedIn, she has been hired by Xbox as the Director of Partnerships in Japan as part of the gaming ecosystem organization. Mena Sato Kato lists on LinkedIn that she is responsible for leading partnerships for Japanese publishers at Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And it's obvious right here. I agree very much with this that JRPGs and other large releases from Japan developers or publishers is the main thing that is missing from Xbox right now. And so here she is on her LinkedIn. So credit there. Let's see. That's about it. Let's see. She looked forward to seeing colleagues at the Tokyo Game Show. Oh, so she's going to be at the Tokyo Game Show. Xbox is expected to attend what has been teased as the biggest Tokyo Game Show, with the Computer Entertainment Supplier Association releasing a statement acknowledging fans' high demand for the show. Well, there you go. So we don't know exactly what she's going to do yet, but hopefully she'll bring some of those Japanese games over. Which one do you want her to bring over the most?
I don't have any.
You don't have any Japanese dreams?
No.
Oh man.
But no, like the only I really don't. Like I don't play JRPGs and like I don't know. I'm not into anime and so and I don't like horror and that's pretty much all they do. So they don't have anything for me.
All right. Well, hey, if it's not your bag, it's not your bag. Right? Dreadpool, Mena Sato Kato. Well, what a fun name to say.
Yes. I can't think of anything, but you guys did bring up horror, so let's see some more horror games from them.
Like what?
I'm
not a horror buff, so I don't know even what horror games Japan has.
Well, Evil Within is
Mm-hmm.
something. It's definitely nice. It's a good
Resident
game.
Evil, but everybody already has that.
Yeah. Although Dino Crisis wouldn't be so bad.
Oh yeah, but we're all waiting on that.
Wasn't Silent Hill also Japanese?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. There's one.
But that's the next Silent Hill would be a Sony exclusive.
Yeah, it would be.
So we will not see that, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, guys.
You're asleep. It's all right.
I've only had a couple hours sleep to be here. It was that or not show, and I was like, I can't do that.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate you being here, even if you're only halfway here. So, let's see. So for me, obviously, the big one is you got to improve relationships with Square Enix, the likes of Square Enix. They need to be improved big time, and hopefully, this will improve that, and they'll stop skipping us on a bunch of RPGs, especially these older remakes. Things like Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Pixel Perfect Remaster. Obviously, the big one, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. All those Final Fantasies should come. Triangle Strategy comes to mind. The Mana series, when it got brought out, didn't come to Xbox. So, to me, those are some of the big ones. Is mostly Square Enix that needs to come over to the green side.
It looks like they have an entire genre called J horror, for Japanese horror. Like they have a whole genre. So and it has like stuff like Fatal Frame and Clock Tower, Splatterhouse, House of the Dead, all kinds of stuff. Evil Within. So they have a lot of stuff. So it's just a matter of trying to get them over here, I guess. The Grudge, like the Grudge video game. All right.
So yeah. So we have some of those games here. Give me 1 second here. What other Japanese games are there that are like huge misses for Xbox other than the Square Enix games? Let me look. Let's see.
I'm looking here.
Japanese game skipping Xbox. All right, yeah. So Theater Rhythm, Final Bar Line again. That's another Square Enix. Ease X Nordics, yeah, that one skipped us. Octopath Traveler again, another one. Oh, that's right. The Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection from Capcom skipped us. So that would be amazing if we could get that, because we got all the other Mega Man legacies. Why didn't we get that one? So let's see. Oni, okay. Decidia 7, yeah, that one. Legend of Heroes, Kuzani AI. It's a touch game, I guess. Let's see. The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Azura, already on PS4 and Switch and being ported to PC, but not Xbox, you jerks.
Jerks.
Ease 9's Monstrum Nox, already on PS4 and Switch, being ported to PS5, but not Xbox again, you jerks. Grimoire, once more, it's kind of like a shoot 'em up. Yeah, you have to really be a fan of Japanese games to know which ones are skipping. Not a lot of them are skipping us, but some of them are. Like the Ease game shouldn't skip us. The Ease is a huge franchise. Mega Man shouldn't be skipping us. That kind of sucks, right? So hopefully, Mena Sato Kato will be able to bridge that gap for Xbox. So maybe Phil can save on the trips to Japan a little bit and not visit every few weeks.
Like when it comes to like anime, everything that when it comes to like anime, I know like America gets everything like way later. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I know that also transitions into video games too. So I know there's been some like One Piece video games, for example, that never released in the States at all. So it would be, it could be an opportunity to try to bring games over here that haven't even come here yet, that have been out.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, younger adults, the youngins, the Gen Z kids, they love the Japanese art style. They love it. Like anime is so big right now. Japan content is so big right now. Xbox has got to fix their Japan content problem if they want to remain relevant with younger children. With younger audiences, not younger children, but younger audiences, because some of them are young adults now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is huge that Xbox hires someone with this much experience, specifically to build on partnerships. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this will address some of that, and especially with Square Enix. Square Enix is the big Japanese monster out there. Like they are the big dog.
It's also kind of crazy when you think about it, because like the kids are real into it. But like if you think about it, like when we were kids, you were kind of like seen as the nerd, like the one.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you like video games? Oh, what's wrong with you? Or you're into anime? What's wrong with you? And now it's so mainstream that if you don't like video games and anime, like you're the one that looks weird,
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy how it's completely shifted.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to know what's kind of the loser thing to be right now, because in like 20 years, that's probably going to be the popular thing.
Yeah.
I was born 20 years too early, man. Because I love video games and anime. I love it all.
Like Heelys shoes made a comeback. Like that was one of those things where it was like, it was very niche when we were kids, but now it's like it's made a comeback. Now the Heelys are the coolest thing ever, and it's like, and these young kids think that that's the first time it's ever been here. And it's like, no, we had it when we were kids. No one cared, But
it's kind of like when Post Malone found that old man. I forgot what his name was. Something Osborne, Ozzy Osbourne. He found that guy.
Right?
He brought him on stage and made this guy popular. I don't know who that guy is. I mean, it's not like he hadn't have a show on MTV for decades and a career, and you know what I mean. It's like, you guys never heard of Ozzy Osbourne? Are you kidding me?
Rock legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not have heard of Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah,
Um,
and to give Post Malone the credit of finding him.
right?
Post Malone was in his glory to be able to be on, to be able to not just be on stage, but to be like bringing him on stage, on his stage, that Ozzy came to him. That was like amazing. And these kids don't know this stuff. That's why a lot of these older games, it'd be nice to be brought back, and
Right?
with today's controls.
With today's amazing technology.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pause that right there. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Dan, the man Cunningham joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Dan, the man Cunningham asterisk. Is the Cunningham the asterisk or the man the asterisk? I don't know. Hey all, how's everybody doing this morning? Hey, thank you so much for joining us, Dan, the man Cunningham. You are the real MVP. We're doing great. We are doing great. Web Dave joins us. Shout out to Web Dave. He says, "Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Web Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. We appreciate you." Let's see. What do we have? Sleepwalking Dreadpool. Yeah, exactly. Sleepwalking Dreadpool. And then we have Bring Me the Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters. Yeah, exactly. Doggy will buy Final Fantasy 4 again. Trust. And Dan the Man Cunningham says there was zero reason to lose out on the Pixel Remaster. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And Web Dave says, great show, Terry, Axel, and Dreadpool. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
And Dan the Man says, I liked Octopath Traveler a lot. That really had me upset missing out on number 2. Yeah, a lot of people are very upset on missing out on number 2, and Square Enix should be upset with themselves for not porting. I don't think it's that hard to port a game like that to Xbox, especially when you port it to the PC already. Let's see. Fatal Frame is a great Japanese horror game. Oh, Fatal Frame, the infamous Fatal Frame. That's right. And let's see. The only enemy that I've seen was Legend of the Overfiend. Never heard of it. Have you?
Me neither. I never heard of that.
Never heard of the Legend of the Overfiend. Yeah,
Sounds
guys.
Cool.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds cool to me.
Right? Yeah, it sounds totally cool to me. And Fastback joins us. Thank you so much for joining us, Fastback. You are the real MVP. He says, good morning, Xbox. Good morning there, Fastback. We appreciate you. Yeah, so from the good morning side here, guys, first off, if you like the show, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps us get discovered, especially on the live section of YouTube, so we can be in front of more and more people. We really appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. Share it out with a friend. Tell them the show is on. Wake them up. Tell them good morning. Tell them to get in here. We're talking Xbox. And, we talk with the chat. We engage with the chat a lot. And speaking of engaging with the chat, Terry, we had a poll.
All right. Will Mena, Sato, Kato bring us Final Fantasy, whatever number that is? All right. So 57% said yes. 42% said that they want something else that's, a different Japanese game. And that was out of 7 votes.
All right. And guys, just so you guys know, I also do Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I do the Iconic Video Games podcast. If you haven't checked that out, be sure to check it out. It's fantastic fun. And we also do very similar, just that shows more about all the platforms instead of just Xbox. So be sure to check that out as well. Let's move it right along here on to our next topic, which I lost my topic list. Oh, no. Here we go. So up next is shutdowns. Sadly, there's some studio shutdowns, guys. Volition was shut down earlier this week, much to a lot of people's sadness because they were mainly responsible for Saints Row.
And Red Faction. Yeah, man, Red Faction was great.
Yeah, Red Faction was great. So Volition, I don't know too much about Volition. Do you know a lot about Volition here, Terry?
Not a whole lot. I just, I'm familiar with Red Faction and Saints Row. They are, fantastic franchises. So
Well, when you're a little lost, you know where you got to go. You got to go to the internet because the internet has never lied to me, not even once.
They worked on the Descent series, Free Space, Summoner, Red Faction, Saints Row, Agents of Mayhem.
Gotham Agents of Mayhem, or no,
Agents,
Central Agents of Mayhem.
No, Agents of Mayhem, the spin-off of Saints Row, kind of.
So Volition, by Deep Silver, before that by Gearbox, I think, owned them. They're part of the Gearbox. So if you know, Gearbox Entertainment was bought by Embracer Group, and in 2022 or 2023, when they said they were going to restructure in 2023. All right. So in June of 2023, Embracer Group announced a large-scale restructuring program focused on cost savings, capital allocation, efficiency, and consolidation, which includes staff layoffs, studio closures, or divestments, and game project cancellations or suspensions with immediate implementation into phases until March of 2024. This was due to a $2 billion deal falling through, according to Axios. The deal had been with the Savvy Games Group, but fell through at the last moment. In the same month, Campfire Cabal was closed with its employees laid off alongside with Volition. So, deal fell through. They lost $2 billion, probably in guarantees, and they're going to recoup some of that money. And if you look at the stock market, Embracer Group is worth about half of what they were once worth. So, big trouble over at Embracer Group and all the studios they own. If you know, Embracer Group has 129 internal game development studios with more than 15,000 employees across 40 countries. So they are massive when it comes to games. So Embracer Group shuts down. The first ones were Campfire Cabal Studios and Volition. Goosebite also got shut down in August as well. So Volition being the big one, but Goosebite also got shut down. I don't know anything about Goosebite.
I've never heard of them.
Never heard
personally.
of her. So yeah, there you go, guys. So of course, to us Xbox folks, Embracer Group is famous for getting Square Enix Western division, including Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, which we all kind of wanted Xbox to get them. So we are a little sad that these studios are shutting down because we really like Crystal Dynamics and Eidos. We don't want them to go anywhere. But now everybody seems to be in danger. Dreadpool, I'll let you open it up on this one.
Yeah, well, you see, back in June, June, May, June, somewhere around there, they had a $2 billion deal that would have kept them afloat. And when that deal fell apart, they lost all that backing. So they had to make the announcement back in June that we're going to have to, some games are going to have to get canceled because there's no money. If you don't have any money flowing in from the investors and that $2 billion deal they were banking on falling apart, kind of screwed them. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. It's the economy. It's everything. The world.
Is that
economy.
what the deal was with Savvy Group or whatever it was called? What was the name of the group called? Savvy, Savvy Games Group. So Savvy Games Group was going to keep them afloat.
Yep.
And that fell through. All right. Well, do we know which games have been canceled? Games canceled by Embracer Group. Thank God that Tomb Raider's over. I hate to say this, but thank God.
Amazon's making Tomb Raider.
Amazon's making Tomb Raider because, man.
It just sounds weird hearing that like that.
Thank God.
Thank God Amazon is.
Thanks the Lord.
It's better than not ever getting one ever again. So hopefully it's better than not getting one ever again. Well, time will tell.
Well, I know because I've said it before, and I could see Embracer Group doing like a holding company for Microsoft to turn around and buy it for Xbox. to buy Tomb Raider,
It's possible they might try to sell some of their IPs.
buy
Embracer Group just bought the rights to the digital rights for Lord of the Rings too.
yeah,
So I mean, they are.
everything, for that. That's a huge deal, and that was earlier this year, if I recall.
Yeah, that was earlier this year. So yeah, Embracer Group
So it was
even this year
before
has
it
been
was
just
before this
spending
deal.
money, and I guess not enough money has been coming back because they're spending AAA money making AA games. I hate to say it,
They do have like over 100 games in development right now, so hopefully these games start coming out so they can start making some money.
Yeah, and that's the thing is getting some of these games to come out, and they are. I understand that you're saying that they're single A,
Not AA like AA style.
Yeah.
double A. Some of them are single A, but
Yeah.
again, I understand that some of these games are not to a lot of people's liking, but the fact that they have a plethora of games, uh, uh, just the just the diversity of studios that they have with the diversity of IPs that they have. It's not like everybody's been saying for the past 10 years, Halo, Forza, Gears. It's not like that. Where Xbox has a variety of games that they've just haven't really done anything with. And I don't see that with Embracer Group. They've been dabbling with a lot of their older IPs and trying to keep them going. So
Well, like
I don't know.
Embracer Group has they released Gollum, Gearbox Entertainment, owned by Embracer Group now. They released Gollum. Got some hype for it, and it came out and it was trash. Hate to
It
say it,
was.
but I mean, I as soon as I saw that game, I go, that game does not look fun. And
Well,
then
even
it came out, and I was vindicated. And so, yeah, they're already, Embracer Group is a big corporate monster. They're going to release games whether they're ready or not on schedule because they need to.
look
But
at
you kind of can't.
the Saints Row one that just came out too. That one there was a mixed bag of reviews, and it was a lot of people didn't like
It
it. They
was
actually brought it back in to work on some more.
I've played that game extensively. It's a great game, but yeah, it was rough when they launched it. It definitely wasn't ready. They've made a lot of fixes, but yeah, it was rough. So they should have held off on it a little longer.
Yeah, and Embracer Group also has some great, like they do have some heavy hitters. Like to me, their biggest hitter right now, new IP is Valheim. Valheim on early access. I mean, it just killed it. I know I put like 200 hours into Valheim. I love Valheim. They did Biomutant, Terry, one of the ones you love.
Mm-hmm.
They
THQ.
did. Who else did they do here? Geez, I had it in my head and it just now slipped out of my slipped out. So, they have XCOM, which is one of my favorite games right now, and they did Borderlands. I think Borderlands wouldn't have come out if it wasn't for Embracer Group. So Borderlands 3 and
Well,
what was it,
right
Tiny
now,
Tina's Battlegrounds or whatever.
and right now, in case people are out of the loop, if you're a Borderlands fan, they just launched the Pandora's Box collection, which is every single Borderlands game all in one collection, and it's available on every platform, even the Switch. So
That's right.
So that's
A
the
true
way for them
third-party
to try to make
developer.
some money. Try to make some money. We gotta repackage all the Borderlands together. So hopefully that helps them out because those are some great games.
Yeah.
Don't forget, they also bought they as an Embracer Group a while back bought Dark Horse Media, which
Comics.
they are the comics are
I'm sorry, who
still
did they buy?
Dark Horse Media.
They bought Dark Horse?
Yep,
Yeah.
Dark Horse Comics, Dark Horse Entertainment, and
Wow.
Things from Another World, all underneath the Dark Horse Media.
Wow.
So,
Who's
Star
the big
Wars.
Dark Horse? Like what
Star
are some of
Wars.
the great heroes or great comics?
Well, I know they do Mass Effect comics, so I know that much.
I think Dark Horse did the Gears of War comics too. So yeah, there you go. I guess
Yeah.
game related loosely. Yeah. But yeah, Embracer Group needs to learn to slow down its acquisitions and start funding its development because they can't release things like Gollum in the state it released in. It
And
just
then
did not look good.
and also Deep Silver,
Mhm.
they always worked in tandem with Volition and helped them
Mhm.
out a lot with the Saints Row games. They actually came out and they had said that Saints Row is going to get moved over to, was it Playon? I'm not sure how you say the name. Playon. They're the guys who are making Payday 3.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Embracer owns Payday. So the Payday studio will be taking over Saints Row. I don't know. They're currently working on the newest Payday, so they're probably not going to be pushing content for anything anytime soon. But at least the IP will hopefully live on. See what they do with it.
Oh, I have a feeling that they're not going to stop. They're going to come back when they get an opportunity.
They had a lot of content planned to come out, so it's probably just something that they will just need to finish and release when it needs to be released.
Yeah, 100
right.
games in development. Yeah, that's a lot of content. That's for sure.
So Saints Row, the original Saints Row scored an 81. Saints Row 2 scored an average of about 78 or so. Saints Row the third scored an average of 83. Saints Row the fourth scored an average of, holy crap, it's everywhere. 80. Let's just go 81. And then Saints Row the newest one scored an average of 66. Wow.
Like I said, it
Yeah, it
released
came out
very
rough.
rough.
Very rough. Yeah.
Very rough. There was a lot of bugs and like rubber
Mhm.
banding, and your quests wouldn't progress. You'd have to it was bugging. It was a mess. So
Yeah. And Sith Lord, shout out to Sith Lord. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And by the way, I love the Darth Maul
Can you
avatar. He says, good games take time. A rush game is always bad. Yeah, Saints Row. I mean, look what happened. And, I get it. You got to make tough calls. You got to put someone out of business. But, I don't know. It's tough. Whenever you got to do layoffs, we've done one round of layoffs where I work, and it was very tough choosing who to let go because you don't want to. But, corporate says you have to.
except
And
for
that's
that
tough.
one guy. That one guy that
start
gets
looking
on
at
your nerves.
productivity. Start looking at productivity. All right, who's at the bottom?
That's really what it comes down to is
No,
how productive are they? Like,
we see, and that's I think is part of a setup too. It all depends on how productive they are, but depending on the project, some projects might have been in the hole from the get-go, and usually you give those projects to the guys that you trust the most. You know what I mean? Because you know that they can handle a project like that, even though it's upside down. That's the person you give it to.
yeah.
And because even in my industry, I see that. And then, we complain, that we keep on getting these horrible jobs where these guys that are horrible at their job get all these easy cookie cutters and
Mm-hmm.
some that they can just skate by on. And it's like, well, how do you do productivity based on that? It's also in a way set up from your boss.
Observation also helps too. Like everybody knows who is there and focused on working on their tasks, and who are the
Yeah.
ones that are
Mm-hmm.
going around visiting with everybody. You know
When
what I mean?
when it comes to bean counters, they don't look at that. They look at numbers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they
'cause
don't care. They don't
there's
care
always
about
those people.
personalities or any of that other stuff.
There's always those people that they do more talking than working. So get rid of them.
We've had
I remember
guys.
I once hired a guy specifically to test electrical actuators because we were having, they were arriving broken out of the box. So I hired someone to literally just sit there all day, hook up a plug, take a little actuator out, hook it up, and push a button and watch it move and repeat all day long. That's all I hired him for. Poor guy. He did a fantastic job. He got through it, but and he sorted out the good ones from the bad ones. He did great for his task, but when it came time to downsize, The actuator tester gets to go. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's check in with the chat real quick. Chill Walker goes on our previous topic. He says, I remember having to travel 45 minutes to the only store that sold Dragon Ball Z movies on VHS. Yes, Chill Walker, yes. And you remember when you put them all together, they made a giant mural? Do you remember that? I remember because I had them.
I had them.
That's right. I had them. I was one of those. I love Dragon Ball. Let's see. And then the man Cunningham says, who makes a deal on a handshake? Hey, those still exist, you know. Those still exist. But yeah, until it's on paper, it's not solid. But yeah, I agree with you. And RWK88 joins us. He says, good morning, y'all. Good morning, RWK88. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. It didn't help that the developers got into arguments with fans online. Yeah. Yeah, if you're making a game and fans are kind of being critical, don't say, don't buy the game, because guess what? We won't. We won't. And Dan, the man Cunningham, says, that's largely because they got away from what made the first games so enjoyable. He's talking about Saints Row's meta.
100% agree with that.
Mm-hmm. You know, maybe they were just trying to update it for the younger audience, because the first one came out in the Xbox 360 era. When did 360 come out? 2007? 2008?
No, it was before that.
It might have been before that. Yeah,
I had one in college, and that was 05.
05, wow.
2003.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes it's time to update. All right, let's see. When did the first one come out? The first one came out in 2006. So the 360 was out before then. So yeah, you know, it was time to update. They were just trying to update. To us, it looks like, oh man, that doesn't look so cool. But to kids, it might look awesome.
I think they went to millennial route.
Whoa. Millennials are old now. You mean Gen Z route?
No, millennial.
Not all millennials are old.
Who's the youngest millennial? Let's see. The youngest millennial would have to be 23 years old right now. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And we see how they work.
Look here, Gen X. Why don't you go home to the house where your parents are not at?
Isn't it crazy how
raise yourself?
You got millennials in their 40s, and then like the youngest ones are like half that age. It's like,
yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny because I'm like the first. Millennials started when they came into adulthood at the 2000s, and it ended when the last one was born in the 2000. So I came into adulthood in 2000, so I'm a millennial, but I'm 41 years. How old are you? Yeah, 41 years old, and the youngest millennial is 23 years old. So yeah, it's a big age gap. 18 years. Yeah.
And it sucks because whenever people talk about like generations, that they just they tend to be more focused on a certain age group within there, but everybody gets pulled in.
My favorite part is everything gets blamed on millennials, and I guess for the last 18 years, I guess so, for us being young and whatnot. But now that I look about it, I'm like, I don't feel that young anymore. I feel like the grumpy old man. I feel like a dreadpole. I feel like I'm dreadpole age.
Yeah, it's funny. It's because I hear boomer, and it's usually never towards me, which is the funny part. But I'm always thinking about that, going, no, boomers were like
boomers so
parents,
misrepresented,
generation before us.
Yeah, like majority of the boomers aren't even around anymore.
No, I know. they're thinning out.
Yeah, it just
it's all those dang Gen X old guys.
How naive people are. They don't, they just miss these terms.
You got to remember, our social media was basically where are the bikes at, and that's usually whose house had the video games or had the cool toys that we'd always like to go hang out
man.
with.
I remember being the long cord telephone.
Like my grandfather wasn't a boomer. Like he missed it. He just missed it by like a couple years. Like boomers are old. And my grandfather died at, when was he, like 95? And that was like a few years back already. So like the boomers are gone.
Yeah. So fun. So yeah, Gen Xers are the old people now. I mean, there's some boomers still alive, but not very many.
Some, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
Gen Xers are the
young bloods of that generation, like our 20-something millennials.
The millennials are supposed to be the adults, and I got to tell you, I'm still into not adult things. I still love playing video games and stuff.
Are you kidding me? As an Xer, I'm still 3.5 years old. I don't know what you're talking about.
3.5 years old.
I mean, who says, Yeah, I got duties that I got to take care of, but tomorrow I can go to a concert. All right, let's do this.
Or another one.
Still young and
And
still
then-
young at heart and still young in responsibility. Love it.
and then I got to ask for my wife for permission.
Well,
It's
what's
like,
even funnier
hey.
about this is that Dreadpool is a Gen X asking his wife, a millennial, for permission.
Yeah.
and
And then when my daughter saw who I was gonna go work for,
mm-hmm.
and she's like, "Oh, you showed them to me already." I said, "I'm going to go there and be at the concert." She's like, "What?" she knows who Baby Metal is.
Yes, Baby Metal, they're awesome.
She was like, okay, cool.
Really?
And then I'm going to the show, and she's like, "What?" Like, like, wait a second, everything flipped on the script there. It was like, now she's upset that she couldn't go. And it's like, you couldn't care less because I was the one showing you Baby Metal.
Yep.
But
Baby Metal, to me, I loved Baby Metal back when they were like 13 years old. I like their style of the Kiwami metal, right? Or cute metal, as they called it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I loved it. I love the style. I was very much into it, and I'm glad they're still going strong.
Yeah, they're in their
20s now.
20s to 25 range.
Yeah, they're in the 20s now. But yeah, they've been around for about a decade now.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to Baby Metal, and as I said, I'm seething with envy.
I got to stand right in front of that speaker, and the bass just like penetrated right through.
Now. Just don't even talk to me right now. You think your daughter's upset? I'm upset. Okay. All right. Let's see. Rabbi Henriksen says, hello, you bro. Hello, Rabbi Henriksen. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Shout out to Splendiferous. Man, I'm late because of the ponies. I hate ponies, man. Well, deal with grown-up horses. I don't know, man. Did you have to feed them? What happened? And Chael Walker says, no, this is before Dragon Ball was officially sold in the US. Oh, so you went to the guy that sold the recordings. I know what you're talking about.
Hey, back in those days, that's what you had to do.
That's
I'm
right,
not condoning it, but I understand.
That's right.
I was there.
RWK88 says, is Dragon Ball Z a fighting game? It is now. They have Dragon Ball The Fighters, or the Fighter Z, if you will, and it's a fantastic fighting game. And he says the Xbox 360 was 2005, right? Yeah, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. Dreadpool taking stubs at me. Didn't see that coming. You know what he's talking about, Dreadpool?
Millennial.
Oh, millennial. Oh, the millennial thing. Okay. Yeah. And Fastback comes in. He says, I love Saints Row 1, 2, more story series that tried to compete with GTA. Unfortunately, the new Saints Row did not do too well. It was okay, but not good enough. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. And aren't boomers pre-World War II after all the soldiers returned? Boomers were born during the World War II era, but the ones who fought in World War II are called the greatest generation.
Yeah, their children are the boomers.
Their children are the boomers.
The boomers are because it was baby boomers. They were having kids left and right because of the war. There was the lack of people. So that's where that came from. So my parents are actually the offspring of boomers, but they fell into they fell into that category. So yeah, I don't even know if they ever separated my grandparents from my parents' generation.
Also back then, with farming and stuff, it was common to, for them to have 10 to 12 children to help on the farms. So.
Yeah, you had to have replacements in case something happened. That's the old country for my father. That's what you were easily replaced.
Kids were free labor. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know that phrase like, "Oh, I don't care what happens to you because I can make another one just like you."
Yep.
That's
what they would do too. They would just.
That's right. That's what they would do. I'll make another one just like you, and by just like you, they mean someone to work on the farm. All right, let's see. Dan the Man Cutting Hands says baby metal. Let's see. Y'all wish Mike Mullis happy 50th birthday. Dang, that boomer.
Is that today?
That boomer. Yeah, it might be today. Yeah. So be sure to wish
birthday,
Mike Mullis a happy birthday. And Fastback says that explains it, Axel. Yeah. X-Gen the greatest. There you go. Look here, Gramps. You Gen X Gramps. I'm just kidding. All right. I think that's it for Saints Row. Well, we're sad that Volition is shutting down. Hopefully Saints Row lives on. And I don't know. It looks like more studio closures are gonna come. Who do you think is on the chopping block for Embracer Group? I mean, they have 100 and all right, hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Oh, I can. Okay, hold on. Who do you think is next on the Embracer Group chopping block? Here. Let me scroll past. All right, here we go. So they have THQ Nordic. Oh my gosh.
I think they're fine because
There's
THQ
two.
pushes stuff out, so I think they will be okay.
Crystal Dynamics is good. EDS Montreal is good. I was thinking 3D Realms only for the fact that they've been around forever, and Duke Nukem forever.
Yeah.
Sucked forever.
Has sucked since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the mobile stuff and
a lot of the mobile stuff I think can get.
And a lot of these developers that have all these games that no one's heard of, they will probably get rid of them.
But here on the other side,
Saber Interactive, Saber Interactive with 3D Realms and 4A Games and Asper, who lost, by the way, the Knights of the Old Republic. It's rumored that they lost the Knights of the Old Republic contract.
Yeah, so I could see Asper being pushed out.
Yeah, I can see Saber Interactive as a whole being shut.
On the cell phone market, the cellular games, I don't see them because that's the direction everybody's heading to. So unless those games are just fodder, I don't, I see people spending money there. So as long as they have money coming in, I don't see that
I think they will probably keep the quality ones,
Yeah, but even the bad ones, somebody's buying for $2. There is a market there for bad games.
Yeah, so they have all these studios, so they got studios to shut, so hopefully seeing some of these shutdowns has put a fire in some of those studios chairs, and get them to start releasing polished games. But yeah, I would say I'm with you. I think 3D Interactive, 3D Realms, that whole Saber Interactive division could possibly shut down,
or at least half.
Yeah,
would be easily on the chopping block.
I can't remember the last great 3D Realms game. Can you?
No, that's
or the last great 4A game, or Asper. And that's what I mean. Like, these games just you got to be good to stay on it. Let's see. Let me see
Civilization. Asper does Civilization.
Huh?
Civilization.
Asper was Civilization.
They were part of Civilization 5.
Oh man, they're not going anywhere. But they do some of the Mud Runner DLC. It looks like
and who plays those Mud Runner, Snow Runner, all those games?
Hey, well,
everybody.
Yeah,
think about that. Yeah, they may not be mainstream, but
there's a love-hate relationship with those games. Okay,
there's a lot, even the farming simulators and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are into that stuff that you would never think would be into it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god! And they're making Saber Focus Entertainment, owned by Saber Interactive, is making Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Literally, my Warhammer dreams are in your hands.
Oh,
do not mess this up.
You didn't hear that got canceled?
I will.
I'm kidding.
I will cancel you right now, Dreadpool.
Click. Whoops.
Oh man.
Trying to see if they have anything new for 3D, and I don't think they have anything.
I'm not seeing anything from 3D Realms. Yeah, a lot of Snow
Oh wait,
Runner.
they do have a game coming out, or just should have came out back in July. Rise of the Triad was supposed to be their most recent game.
Never heard of it.
Me neither. But it came
They
out
did
on
World War
all
Z.
systems.
I know that a lot of people liked World War Z. They own the Crisis. So yeah, they have some.
I might have to look into it and make it an indie spotlight just so we can get some recognition.
Save Saber Interactive. Hashtag Save Saber Interactive.
I gotta save 3D Realms, you guys.
Yeah.
They
Let's
published
check it.
they published Cultic 2 in 2022.
What is it called?
Cultic, Cultic, in 2022, but has not released as of 2023. Has not released any other titles. Yeah, I'm assuming that's probably a PC game.
Guys, I'm on the Wikipedia here for. Oh, here we go. Thank God. Okay. Let's see. Cultic, yeah. Ghost Runner, Ion Fury, Zik, Graveball, Road Warriors, Bombshell. And tell me, I've gone back
These are
almost 10 years.
old.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Well,
There you go.
Yeah, look at how this. If you see
The
some
original
of the stuff,
Prey. Max Payne. I mean, a lot of people are saying, bring back Max Payne, bring back Max Payne.
Who owns the IP for that though? I don't think they own that IP.
they don't own the IP anymore.
Yeah, so they can't. So they won't be bringing that back.
Remedy owns Max Payne, don't they? Yeah. Anyways, let's check in with the chat. Dan the Man Cunningham says, Asper did lose the Knights of the Old Republic contract. It must have been pretty bad. Yeah, I can see them shutting down.
But they got Civilization.
Axel 1324, when am I getting that new Wreckfest? There's a Wreckfest Track Mania or something, Wreckomania or whatever. That one.
Not Trackmania, dude. That's Ubi.
They
That's
have like
Ubi.
a Wreckfest style track game now.
They do. They have a new one coming out.
I forget what it's called. Yeah.
It might be Wreckmania. That might be it.
Maybe it's called Brunch Fest.
No, that was the first one.
No. Let's see.
Wasn't it?
RWK88 says, my boy loves Munner and Farming Sim. They have a new one. They just showed up on the
I know,
Expeditions.
Expeditions. I'm still looking forward to Expeditions.
Expeditions. For those of you who just want to explore and you don't want to do the, all that hauling and
all that hauling and building. Yeah.
Oh my God. The logging is like, that's the one thing I hate the most in those games is the logging. Because like that stuff is so top heavy and it's a pain to reload those trailers, man. Screw logging. I got no patience for it.
Final Destination. Oh no way! That could be like the spinoff. You get to play as the cars that have to drive around the loggers.
Yeah. Oh
See, but that would mean they'd have to implement
because of that movie, I never
no
drive
speed
behind
in
a
their
logger. I
games.
will immediately move out of the way. What is it called? It's called Rec something. Recreation. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, Recreation. Okay.
Recreation. That's right. Recreation is coming. That's right. So there we go. Got it.
It's actually a good play on words, so well done.
So, Sith Lord says, I would never buy Farming Simulator, but it's on Game Pass and I play it often. You know what, man? No shame. You pay for the service, you get the games. It's not free, you pay for it.
You pay for that rental.
That's
sorry.
right. You paid for it.
We used to
You
do
pay for that
back in the
access. You get
day.
it.
Back in my day, we used to do
Yeah.
that. You go to Blockbuster and rent the.
Now you don't have to drive somewhere,
No,
and you don't get late fees.
That's too. That's the
We don't have
bonus.
we don't have it in stock. We'll give you a call, and then they never call you. Let's see. Remember, Good Morning Xbox would not exist if not for us ex-gen gamers. Yeah, I guess so. And again, Doggy Dog is reminding everybody that Amazon right now has a deal for 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for $31.49, which is the lowest price I've seen since the price increase. So yeah, there you go. Let's see. Yeah, the no rewind fee. Yeah, exactly. They would charge you money to just put it in a machine and rewind it. I remember that. As a matter of fact, the video rewinders became its own little segment. Like I remember, like instead of rewind it in your VCR, you would just put it in the machine and it would rewind it in half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never had one.
I remember when DVDs came back, Or it came in one of the like the biggest selling points of DVD was, and you don't have to rewind.
Yes.
I remember that. I was young when that happened, but yeah, I remember that.
And they brought in the skip feature.
That's right.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Doggy Dog says, I've heard nightmares about CD keys, so I get worried about sites I don't know. I use CD keys all the time. You just got to make sure you select the correct region. That's about the only thing you got to make sure. Because you might see a good deal and get excited and buy it for the wrong region. And come to find out it wasn't on sale in your region. So make sure that what you're buying is for your region. That's right. I had a rewind machine. It was fast as Hyuk. Hyuk? Like Goofy? Hyuk? I'm just kidding. Not WKAD. I know what you mean. Let's see. And it was a 50-cent fee. Man, you lived somewhere affordable. Mine was like $2.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see.
charge
I
us
don't
like
miss
$1.
those days, especially when the tape got jammed. Oh, man.
Pulling that out of the VCR.
Or like if there was a scene that got rewinded a lot, it was already ruined. I remember seeing that. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Anyways, let's move the show along. Terry, are you all set?
I am set.
All right.
All right, everybody, I am back with another game for you all to check out. And this is going to be for those of you, if you like sci-fi and you like, medieval fantasy, I got a game that puts them together. So let's go ahead
I love
and check out.
Sky-Fi.
Yeah, we got medieval sci-fi. Let's get it.
Medieval Sky-Fi. Oh, is there no volume? There's no volume, Terry. Can you hear it? I can't hear it. Dreadful, can you hear this?
I did share audio. Let me stop.
Dreadful, can you hear it? No, Dreadful must be taking a bathroom break or something.
All right, let me start it over.
Yeah, there was not even a volume slider on my side. Sorry about that. Let's try it again. Technical difficulties. It's a new software, guys. Give us a minute.
I mean, it does have share audio checked, so that's all I can do. Let's try it again.
Let's try it again. All right, there. Now I have the volume slider. Let's see.
Peggy 16.
Yay.
I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I just need you to recover the cradle. I can't really leave without it. And I'm the only one who can get you out of here.
I'm the first in command. I need to finish the mission. I couldn't sabotage it by telling you all that.
You have chosen well.
Rats again! First things first. To get to me, you'll need a boat. Locals call me Lady of the Lake, but just look for a pyramid-shaped island.
End this unnatural state of things.
Perfect timing, my marshal.
Give the nation a king our people deserve.
Challenge Nabaldo to wager of champion.
Excellent. Follows orders well. Critical thinker. Competent enough to achieve simple tasks. First, you need to find me.
All right,
Wow,
so
that
the
looked cool.
last or recruit. So this is a narrative-driven action RPG where choices definitely matter, and it's going to have Souls-like combat. So your combat will have a challenge to it. There was split screen for those of you that have to have freaking split screen. They made sure to feature that in the trailer. So you have that. Now this game's going to have multiple endings, and it's going to feature. So the game takes place where you are someone who is originally from a civilization that is got advanced technology, and you end up going to sleep for like 300 some years or whatever it is, and then you wake up to find out that civilization has gone backwards, and now they're back in medieval times, and there's these two different like factions that are at war, and you have to make choices on who to help or screw over, and it's going to affect how your story plays out. So go ahead and check this game out. It's pretty cool. And also, if the game will be pretty different if you play co-op versus solo. And what I mean by that is you're going to get different puzzles, different pathways, and different bosses playing co-op that will not be available solo. So it's going to be a different experience. So it gives you, a little bit more replayability. So go ahead and check this out. It's available on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, and it's $40. So go ahead and check it out.
All right, another fantastic indie brought to you by the Queen of Indies, Cool Cat Terry herself. Let's see. Let's check this out. So we can finally hear stuff. Speaking of DVDs, so the scene in Titanic where she's naked was ruined for you, Axel. No, I wasn't into that scene. I wasn't into it. She didn't do it for me, is what I'll say. Let's see.
You actually watched Titanic?
I did. I remember connecting my neighbor's VCR to mine so we can copy blockbuster movies. Wow, you pirate! Pirating is not a victimless crime. That's right. All right, let's move the show along on to the main topic of the day. We are moving over to Starfield. Now, Starfield, for those of you who don't know, is in early access for those of you who paid enough for it. So if you paid enough for that Starfield early access, hey, congratulations, you get to play a little early. And for those of you who have not played it, it's okay. You know what? It comes out on the 6th officially, and it's going to be quite the journey we have for you. But let's give, you got IGN doing the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, which is giving it a 7. I feel that sites like IGN, based on what's happening, are more and more irrelevant every day for reviews. Now, for news, I think they're still relevant. For reviews, I believe they're becoming irrelevant, which is why a lot of people for reviews now are going to their favorite content creators, why YouTubers are replacing YouTube reviews, are replacing, aggregate reviews from these sites. So yeah, I think it's a darn shame what's happening. And if you remember, there was a video a while back from Xbox Era. Special Nick said that he believes that big sites are going to purposely give Starfield low ratings just so they can write articles. And what do you know it? IGN gave it a 7, which is low for this game. And GameSpot gave it a 7, which is low for this game. And I say that based on the average, the aggregate average of high 80s. Right? And it would probably be in the 90s if it wasn't for these two sites. So IGN is just, for the last, month, they have, in my opinion, purposely forgotten to mention Xbox on graphics, purposely forgotten to mention Xbox on games that obviously have Game Pass deals. I think it was a total of 5 games. And then Starfield comes out and they give it to Dan Stapleton, and he gives it a 7, which I don't know. I don't know how you can give this game a 7. I just don't see it. But and then you have there are other sites, IGN Japan, IGN Brazil, IGN everywhere else, giving it 9s, 9.5s, and here's Dan with a 7. So even IGN internally doesn't agree with Dan, and it makes Special Nick correct, in my opinion. He called them out. People got upset saying, "No, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen." And look what happened. Do you believe that IGN purposely gave this, a 7 is not a low score, but for this game it is. Do you think that IGN purposely gave this game a low score, a 7, just so that they could write off the heat that they were going to get? Terry, I'll go with you because I know you don't believe in conspiracy.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not a fan of IGN or reviews in general, but I don't think they. I read through the review, and he did have a lot of positive things to say about the game. So I don't think it was, him, lowballing it on purpose. I think he was being genuine. Since I haven't played it, and I was just going off of how he was explaining things, it sounded genuine to me. And I feel this is one of those things where it's a review, it's an opinion. Like everyone's going to experience a game differently. Everyone has different likes. There's going to be features in the game one person's going to love and rave about, and someone else is going to absolutely hate. So I mean, you can't really go off of reviews. The best way is to just play it yourself and form your own opinion on whether or not you like something. But I don't think that he was being intentional. If he really wanted to, write off hate and stuff, he could have given it a much lower score. So I think he was being genuine. And I mean, from reading what his gripes were, it definitely, from what I saw, it definitely were things that some people are going to dislike about stuff. So I mean, I don't see an issue with what he said, and I feel people want to jump on the fact that you're biased, you're anti-Microsoft, but I'm like, I feel like the fans are biased because they are already so hyped for this game. The idea of it doing poorly, they're not going to accept it. So they're biased. To them, if the game was a 10 before it even came out, and they haven't even touched it yet. So, I mean, the fans are biased. So it's one of those things that if you generally don't like it, people, the biased fans are going to call you out. And it's like, I mean, there are going to be people who generally don't like the game, So, I mean, people need to, relax, I'm going to play it when I get a chance, but I already know there's going to be things about this game that I'm probably going to like, and there's going to be things I'm not going to like. And I know if I call out the stuff that I hate about this game, all of the biased fans are going to come out of the woodwork, talk, and you're going to, talk down and attack me. And that's not, I mean, every game should be open to constructive criticism. No game is perfect. This game, even if it's like the most anticipated game of the year, it's still not going to be perfect. All right. They already have modders fixing things in the game because it wasn't perfect. Okay. So come on. There's going to be some, justified criticism for this game, and people need to stop being biased all around and stop attacking someone because you didn't like their opinion. But it's their opinion. Okay. It's their opinion. Play it yourself and form your own.
Play it yourself and form your own. That's right. As you should always do, by the way. Shout out to the chat here. We got the game complainers joining in. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. Xbox says, Xbox Doggy Dog says Xbox needs to quit giving IGN review codes. We got Sith Lord says Nick should work for IGN. He thinks it's meh because it's not on the Switch. Let's see. Sith Lord says, I can't unlock the first save. You and me both. I tried I used all my DigiKeys. I couldn't figure out the puzzle. Tubby Master, shout out to Tubby Master. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, I wish it wouldn't crash as much. Mine has not crashed even once, but I'm playing on Xbox, so that might be a PC issue.
Yeah.
No, I've seen people on Xbox crash. Somebody crashed like 11 times.
Wow. Mine has not crashed not even once, so
I haven't had a crash either.
So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
Cool Kato, yeah, but he talked trash about it before the game even came out. He was console warring about Xbox and Bethesda acquisition. There you go.
Everybody does that. So who cares? You're gonna tell me, you're gonna tell me a person can't have feelings about something and then change their opinion possibly later? Like, come on. Like, I feel like, I mean, freaking grow up. I mean, I feel like there's probably things you hated on, and then you tried it, and you realize, you know what? I actually like it. All right. And there's stuff that you might have been like excited for, and then you regged on it later because it didn't live up to your expectation. And like, people can change their freaking mind. So I feel like you all need to calm that down. People can change their mind. All right.
Need to be like the top G himself and be consistent throughout time.
No one's
Right.
consistent. Not a single person is consistent with everything. People change their minds. All right. You're gonna tell me you've never changed your mind on something? Because if you tell me you've never changed your mind on something, I'm calling BS. All right. That's
You know who hasn't changed their mind on anything? Sith Lord has never changed his mind on anything because Siths only deal in absolutes. Okay. That's right. No. Of course, we've all had a change of hearts after we tried something. Yeah. Let's see. Back here, Cool Cat. He has a point, but he said dumb crap in the past, and it doesn't make sense. He doesn't have much credit. Same thing. Terry already answered that.
Everybody says stupid stuff. It doesn't make sense. Again, like I feel like people are nitpicking at this point because you're biased, because you want this game to be shown in the light that you see it, and not everyone sees it the same way you do. So live with it. All right.
Live with it.
Live with it.
Live with it. That's right. Welcome to life, suckers. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Chair Walker says, I think he did it to attract engagement. Basically, look how hard the entire IGN went into defense mode and even creating spaces to defend it. That is sus. You would think the review would be enough, right? You would think the review is enough to vindicate your score, right, Terry? I mean, this is not a short review. This is a long
Like I said,
review.
I read through the review, and I'm kind of curious how many people actually read through it. And
I mean, it is a 12-minute review on video with a narrator.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video. I read it. So, like, I feel like a lot of people probably didn't even read it, and they're just, doing what people do, and they jump to conclusions off of headlines.
I only jump to the scores.
But I feel like read it. Like, I read it, and he does praise a lot of things in his review. So it's not a freaking hate piece. Like, calm down. Like,
and 7 is still quote unquote good, right?
Yeah, and he talks about how he's looking forward to things, and and that he got excited for certain things, and there's things that he likes about the game. He went over the things that he likes. It's not a hit piece, okay? I feel like he was being genuine. So
all right.
I think people are just biased. People are just biased in general. I think you guys all want this, God Howard. You can't do no wrong. So you guys already have that biasness in you, and you don't see it. You want to call bias on everybody else that disagrees with you.
How dare you go against God Howard? But yeah, it is kind of telling of what IGN went with here. They went into spaces to defend it, and Dan Stapleton has gone into unprofessionalism territory, as I'm going to call it, because he is replying to tweets. Like, he puts out a tweet to engage with people, and from the engagement I've seen, he has called people morons. He's called them weirdos. He's insulting potential people, right? And Dan Stapleton should be kind of above that, in my opinion.
Yeah, he shouldn't be name calling.
Yeah, he shouldn't be name calling. That's the part that really gets to me about him. I have
he
more of
shouldn't
an
be
issue
name
with
calling.
that than the review, if I'm being honest.
I mean, the review is his review.
I mean, it's a trash review. Don't get me wrong, but I
mean,
hate the fact that he's calling.
When you look at games, you can legitimately tell which reviews are from people who didn't play it, because they'll be calling out stuff that didn't happen, or they're just overly negative and they don't give you any reason why they hate stuff. They're like, so like you can tell. And like, I read through his review, and it didn't strike me like that. And I feel it, I feel it was a decent review. And again, just play it yourself. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to be like, meh. And some people are going to like, this game was horrible. So it's, you're going to have different people. Like the shipbuilding thing, I already know that that's a huge pass for me. I hate that. I hate it. All right. I haven't even played this game, and just seeing that clip right now is triggering me. I hate it.
Just seeing that clip right now is triggering me.
So you can't.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't. The gameplay better be good, because this crap right here is cheesing me off right now. I do not like it. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. So I don't want anything to do with that. So it is what it is. And it being Bethesda, I'm expecting a lot of very boring, cringy dialogue between NPCs and characters as well, because that's what Bethesda does. They just make everything wordy, and they draw things out too long, and it's just Ugh. So I already know that's going to be in there because it's Bethesda. They do that in all their games. Fallout does it. All the Elder Scrolls do it. They're wordy, and it's just like, ugh, just get to the point. So there's going to be aspects about it. All right. So it is whatever it is. Skyrim was a fantastic game, but I can literally pull out a whole bunch of stuff that was wrong with that game that made that game terrible. All right. But overall, it was still a really good game that, was immersive. So, I mean, there's going to be problems with every game. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gotta break your little window. All right, there's going to be problems. There's going to be things people don't like. The shipbuilding, I don't like it. I don't. That looks horrible.
-2 points right there.
Oh man, that looks so stupid. The moment you would bring that into the atmosphere, it would just crumble. It's just stupid. It's one of the things I hate about when it comes to sci-fi
Terry.
stuff.
This is a video game. I mean, you can walk on gas giants.
Star Trek gets it wrong. Like everybody gets it wrong when it comes to like the ship styles. Like these styles will work in space, but once you come into an atmosphere, they wouldn't work because they have too much weight on one side and they would just break apart and everybody would die. All right. But it peeved. Like I'm telling you, that stuff triggers me. I hate it. So yeah, no, this game is going to have aspects that are definitely going to be a huge miss for me. And so yeah.
There you go.
Nope. I can't. Like I'm getting so heated right now just by seeing that clip. It just
Yeah. No. Let's see. Tubby says he's crashed 14 times on the Series X. Wow, man.
Dang.
I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about. It was 11 at that time because he was going to say 10, and now it's like 11. Now it's 14. Holy
Dang,
cow,
bro.
Toby.
See, so
I have no idea what you're doing on your Series X, but whatever it is,
Speaking-
maybe stop.
Yeah, speaking to Tubby, have you, and I know it's stupid, but we got to go through the troubleshooting techniques.
Have you closed all the games?
Power
and opened them back up?
Yeah. Literally,
This is a Windows
close
device.
the game, quit the game, power cycle, unplug the game or the console. Have you tried all that? And are you plugged in, or are you on Wi-Fi?
I think you need to uninstall everything. Just straight up refresh. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you shouldn't have to do all that.
No.
But powering it down and unplugging it, and leave it off for like a minute. 20 seconds to 30 seconds.
That sounds like a lot of work to play a game when every other game on Xbox you just download it and play it.
I had the same issue with Texas Chainsaw, and I had to literally do that.
It sounds like flaws then, because like I
No.
haven't had to do all that with the games I play. So that's a lot of work to get a game to work.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And if you're on Wi-Fi, that may cause some hiccups too. So try that. Hopefully that should resolve your problem.
Just I don't know, man. Turn off your background music, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with that. Who knows? Let's see. He said if Bethesda makes their games exclusive, Xbox will pay for it. Yeah, I agree with that statement. I'm not saying he can't be like that, but I'm saying he's been consistently against Xbox.
And I'm consistently against other companies, so what? And there's still things that they do that I like. So, I mean, I feel like you can dislike a company and still praise them on occasion when they do something right. All right. So, again, get off it.
I want to go off of what Sith Lord says. He says, when you read the review, you think it would be an 8 or a 9. And
I think that's subjective. I really think that's subjective.
Well, you forgot to add the Xbox tax.
Xbox tax, yeah.
I don't know. I disagree.
Dan Stapleton did say in one of his many, many tweets, he said, and I quote here, my knee-jerk reaction was 8. But then I sat down to write. When I read it, I could not justify that score and settled on a 7. So to us, what he's saying might be an 8, but to him, it's a 7.
Yeah,
so his original score was going to be an 8, which would have been much better, in my opinion.
And I feel like people probably, and I feel at that point it wouldn't have mattered. I feel like people still would have roasted him because he's IGN, so there's no winning. I don't know, and again, scores are subjective. We don't.
Yeah.
How is he grading stuff? And then some people are going to grade some things harsher because they like it or dislike it more than somebody else. Like it's grading skills in general is subjective. It's all subjective. Just play it yourself.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's keep going here. DE, shout out to DE. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says, I only care about reviews and skill up videos is shown. Seeing somebody playing through it tells the real story. You've seen it for yourself. There you go. Let's see. IGN US has been capitalizing on Xbox negativity for a while. Starfield being a big Xbox game brings clickbait. IGN has thrown out objectivity a long time ago. I agree with that statement 100%. And you know, there's only been one journalist out there to ever admit that he does have bias, and that he never claimed to be objective, and that is Jason Schreier. For all his faults, he at least never said he wasn't biased, and that didn't have. He said he wasn't objective. He has favorites.
I mean, there have been. I don't do reviews anymore, but I used to do reviews for different indies and things, and there are certain genres I'm not really into, and I would have to review them. And again, I do agree that people should be reviewing things that in a genre that they enjoy, because you're already going in with a mindset of this isn't for me. But it is possible to play something that isn't really your liking and then still be able to find things that they did well in it. So for example, I'm not real big into RTSs, but there was an RTS, I can't remember the name of it, forgive me, but there was an RTS I played, and they changed up the way RTSs work enough to where I was actually able to enjoy it, and I was actually recommending it to people. So I mean, you can be someone who's not a fan of something and then actually end up turning out liking it if it's done well enough. So I feel like just because someone's bashing something for a long time and you have a history of it doesn't mean you can't point out things that were done properly and done well and change your mind, because I've done that as a reviewer. I hate RTSs, and I actually found one that I enjoyed, and I made sure to let everybody know ahead of time that I wasn't a fan of RTSs, but then I started pointing out all the things they did well. So it's possible. Just because you have a history of bashing something, I feel like that shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't. Because you can change your mind. If you're a good enough, credible person, you can, take something you don't like and you can still pull out things that are good about it.
Yeah, I mean, there are games that are like that. Splendifer says, Terry is triggering me right now.
Good.
Let's see. Chair Walker says, I love my biases. That's why I tune into Good Morning Xbox. That's right.
It's a
This
good
show's
bias.
100% biased
That's a good bias.
towards Xbox.
There you go.
Let's see.
But I'm not a fan of IGN, though. I will put that out there. They are pretty sleazy in general. But, even sleazy people can have a tendency to do good things, okay?
Yes.
On occasion. So, I mean.
Yeah. And shout out to Ice Queen Gaming. She joins us. Thank you so much. You are the real MVP. She says, hey, no one should be attacking anyone at all, and we all have an opinion. That's right. Only my opinion's more important. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Reading between the lines there. That's what Axel's doing. Reading between the lines.
That's right. That's right. All right. So, Dreadful, Dan Stapleton. And
Yes.
the IGN review. Did they do Xbox dirty?
Good old Dan. Well, let's see. Everything Cool Cat Terry has said is 100% right. But let me tell you where you're wrong. I hate that. I hate that. Then how do you agree with me, but yet I'm still wrong? You know what I mean? So, but
Because he can.
Right. But I do have, even though I do agree, I do have a difference of opinion on certain things. Yes, you are allowed to change your opinion. Yes, everybody is biased, just like Xbox. People are very Xbox biased. So when you're pro something, you kind of do that. Yeah, Xbox is a brand that I do like and I do favor, but I consider myself a gamer over one platform versus another. A lot of my gamer preferences lean towards Xbox. It is what it is. And that's the way I expect other people to be also. So when you have, prime example, the Iron Lords, their review. Rand's Review, Colt's Review, right? They're all Xbox based channels. I completely ignored them. I ignored everything. I said this before. I would rather have the water cooler talk on comparing the game and going from there. Not only just, obviously playing it myself, but the water cooler talk, I think, is more honest because it's your excitement or lack of excitement about the game that will do the same for me, and that's where it rubs off to, hey, you know what? I want to play this game, or I can't wait to get back in there, or you know what? Yeah, you're right. I didn't like this part. And that's again where, I don't like the reviews. I don't like scores, even worse, right? Because of this. He read it and his initial reaction is it should be like an 8, but I'm going to give it a 7. Well, that doesn't make sense. Because if everything is telling you that's an 8, but your gut feeling is it's a 7, why? That doesn't make sense. He's always been against it. He even said, I'm going to buy the Series X, I believe he said, and then good thing Xbox, I could always refund it. I think he went to Amazon or something. I forgot where. It was one of those things that he said, it's a good thing I can always refund it the next day. Well, what's the point? All he's doing is literally grabbing attention. Again, he is the higher up that's supposed to sign it. And I agree. As a smaller YouTube channel, you review everything you can get your hands on because you're trying to break into the niche, into the market, into the industry, right? So you review everything, even if it, and most of the times you're reviewing games that you would enjoy. So that's why you would try to get certain things. And sometimes there's games that you think you would enjoy, you don't. And that's an opinion that you won't know until you try these games. There's how many times have we said, hey, you know what? This game was in Game Pass. I tried it out and I would never have played this game, but I actually enjoyed it. There's a lot of times we've done that.
Absolutely.
So again, when it comes to stuff like this, we have to put it in relative terms to realize, okay, but when you're talking about a corporation as big as IGN internationally, they have so many employees, and it's just like back in our day, back in my day, we had magazines that we'd have to trust.
You
But
boomer.
back, you know what I mean? But they would give it to somebody that was qualified, right? Somebody that was, you would not have somebody that played RPGs or RTS and do a racer or a fighter. They would specialize in this, and that was part of their background in the magazine. This person specializes in RTSs, right? So you would take their review, and this is an editorial, more than just a grain of salt, because this guy is specialized, or this lady specialized in this genre. So they know the nuances of the genre. They know the cool tech that has progressed that genre when they see it, the
Absolutely.
advancements. So they'll be the better ones to tell you versus a racer trying to tell you what a JRPG is like. I'm not into this. Why would I care? None of this stuff makes sense, right? So again, you want the pros to be handling the experts for those type of genres, not, hey, you know what? This is a big name. I want to do this. Okay. He literally, and this is the issue with Dan. Okay. And I'm not saying it as an attack, but the fact of he literally said the same thing for Skyrim that he said for Starfield, but it was good for Skyrim, but it wasn't good for Starfield. So why is it good for one and not good for the other? Why? Because it was multiplied and now this is exclusive. This is the issues that we see that people have questions with. When you're saying certain things to be digs and more than digs, and IGN is looking for clickbait, and this is good clickbait. So whether or not it's true opinion or not, that's hard to say because His job is to get the clicks, not just the review. And if he's not the normal reviewer for a game like this, why did he take it? You have to question this stuff. And that I think that's why the internet blew up on him, is because it didn't make sense for him to do it and for what he said. He basically was a hypocrite, if you want to put it that way. So he was a hypocrite to what he's said and done. And I think that's the main thing that has happened a lot. And again, like I said, people are going to be biased, and I have no issues with that when you're biased to the truth, right? And if that's his truth, he doesn't like Xbox. Again, why did he even review it? Why not give it to somebody that it actually is the professional that enjoys playing games on Xbox, that enjoys a game like Starfield, to give their honest opinion versus, because there are other creators in the YouTube space that absolutely hate and destroy Xbox, and they got a code. And it makes no sense for them to have a code, because you know what they're going to do? They're going to trash it. So what was the point? We had people talking about different, like going to a gas giant and landing on the planet. That's a gas giant. And then you know what the rebuttal was, which really upset me?
It's a game.
The rebuttal was, well, in Star Wars, Bespin, they landed on a platform. Okay, that's not a planet. It's a platform. It's a spaceship, a station orbiting a gas giant to collect the gas. So again, until somebody puts a ship there or a station or something to orbit inside the gas of the gas giant, then there's nothing to land on. So what are you complaining about? You know what I'm saying? So it's people are coming up with different things to complain about and different ways to backtrack and support other people's stupid opinions. You know what I mean? Because you know who I'm talking about. And this Queen, he just does it for the clicks. He does the hate. He was an Xbox guy, and now he sees that hating on Xbox makes more money for him than actually talking about the game or the preferred choice he likes. He even said, hey, this Queen, right? He even said, hey, thanks, Microsoft. I was able to buy StarCraft using Microsoft points.
Starfield.
Or I'm sorry, Starfield. What did I say?
StarCraft.
Starfield.
I mean, they put that on Xbox. So that's some news to talk about.
Right.
Oops, did I slip something? Sorry about that NDA, guys. That never happened.
He knows nothing.
But you see what I'm saying is it's all about the clicks. It's all about getting that controversy, and unfortunately, we're falling into it. RWK, you don't know what you're talking about. That's why I called him Queen, him Queen, Queen. But yeah, but that's the thing is they're doing it to get the attention, and IGN is learning from these clickbaiters that we can do the same thing, and you do want clickbait, but you have to deliver on what you're baiting people on, not a bait and switch. And that's what they're doing. They're doing a bait and switch, and for this person to do this, Dan, it's a very bad narrative. You should have gave it to somebody else. And I mean, we've talked about on other places in the community, Xbox Unlocked, right? Why are so many of the people on there that are part of the panel act like they hate Xbox? Doesn't make sense, right? But what happens? Oh, they're some of them do like Xbox, but they're very critical. But there's other ones that are, that they don't like it. But guess what? It gets some clicks. It gets people to like, what did this guy say? Why is he even on here? Why is he? What's he talking about? And this is what's going on with Dan. What's he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
If it reads like an 8, where did that Xbox tax go? I mean, there was a reviewer that gave Hi-Fi Rush a lower score because Xbox had not put out enough games. So he gave it an Xbox tax and reduced the score that he would have given it. Oh, there's Doggy talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't even looking. But you see what I'm getting at? And that's the problem. You're allowed to change your opinion. You're allowed when you have more information. But the thing is, I think Dan is being more of a hypocrite to get the attention than anything else. I don't think he's being honest. I don't even think he's being honest with himself.
I feel if he thought in his mind it was an 8, and then he started writing and he started pointing out all the things to where he was actually be able to look at it and be like, okay, you know what? It actually is a 7. I don't see that as hypocritical.
But why are you complaining? But why are you complaining about the map? About not knowing anything about being a map on the whole map system when it's the exact same thing that you loved about Skyrim or Fallout.
Fallout. And don't forget they gave Fallout 9.5.
Yeah, and they loved how you had to traverse, and each area that you're in is the size of Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but now you're going to another area of the planet. Now you're going to another planet or another solar system. So it's even bigger than it was.
I feel it becomes a factor because those games didn't have vehicles. And you have ships, so you're able to travel. So that does come into play. I mean, traversing is great now, and if it's a game like Fallout where you're forced to, pretty much walk anywhere unless you had a fast travel option, I mean, then that's one thing.
Once you land on the planet, you're forced to play Fallout.
And again, that's where evolution comes in too. I mean, people are buying Starfield; they're not buying Fallout. So why is it Fallout? So I feel like it's justified to be like, "Yo, you guys are brand,
right there,
you
just proved my point. He said he liked it on Fallout, but he didn't like it here.
Yeah, because he's not playing Fallout. So I would agree with that. Like, if I'm buying a brand new IP, I want that game to stand alone. I don't want it to play like their other IP because I would rather.
It literally plays just like their other IPs. That's
it shouldn't. It shouldn't. It's a different game.
But Fallout plays just like Skyrim.
And it shouldn't. Like, that's a big flaw with Bethesda.
But why shouldn't it?
But that's their style. But that's their style.
But shouldn't you iterate on what you do well? And I mean, Starfield iterates on what Bethesda does well.
The way I see it, if I'm playing 2 different IPs, I should be able to tell that these are 2 different IPs. I shouldn't be like, you know what? Elder Scrolls and Fallout are the same IP. Just one's post-apocalyptic and the other one is, fantasy. Like, they should stand alone. So
they do.
If it feels more like he's just playing Fallout and he's not playing a different game, then that's something to criticize.
So who's your favorite band?
He's not playing Fallout.
Who's your favorite band?
I don't have a favorite band.
Okay. Favorite car?
I don't really have a favorite car. I like a lot of them. I don't pick stuff out. But
no, I mean, what I'm getting at is the fact that, let's go with the band analogy, right? Korn, when they came out, they had a certain sound. The next album, they matured and their sound changed, and everybody was complaining that it changed. But this is the same band doing the same thing, right? And they've been trying to go back. REM, right? They did the same type of music every single time. It got to the point where they had 2 different songs. Twice this happened. 2 different songs that the rhythm, the song, just even the breaks where the vocals were, the music,
things need to
they
stand
were
out.
literally
You want
exactly
to talk
identical.
You want to talk bands? Freaking Disturbed. Every single song sounds the same. I don't know the names of any of their songs really, except for like the big ones that like everybody knows. Like, all their songs sound the fucking exact. I'm sorry I'm cussing, but I'm like, getting triggered. Like, that's a band. They have like 20 albums, and you can't tell a song apart from like their 50 plus songs they had. You can't tell the difference between any of them. Things need to evolve. You need to be.
But they have been involved.
Songs should be different, and Disturbed is like the epitome of everything sounds exactly the same. You can't even tell you change tracks.
The first 2 albums.
I agree with Terry and Dreadpool on this one because I do think studios should iterate on their
But
content.
but the
And, like,
thing is,
That doesn't mean though
if
that it
this is
needs to
what
be
you do,
completely different. It needs to iterate on what they do
They-
well.
yeah,
but
you could
if
take
this is what you do,
aspects
you
that
wouldn't
you do
expect a
well, but
certain-
it still needs to stand apart, so you know you're playing a different game. If
Okay,
every
so-
single okay.
So Disturbed
The-
needs
the-
to go into reggaeton to
No.
not sound the
Now
same.
you're talking about
That would
changing
be so
genres.
funny.
You're
But
talking about
that's what
changing
you're saying.
genres.
Yeah,
Okay, now you're just being facetious. Okay, no. You gotta go ahead and you need to okay. Saints Row. We brought up Saints Row earlier because of Volition. Okay, Saints Row 1 and 2, they were very GTA-esque. Okay.
and that's
And
why
then
they were
finally
successful.
and then they evolved with 3 and to kind of set themselves apart from GTA and actually become their own entity. And I
Yeah.
applaud them for that. And I actually really enjoy that they did that because I hate GTA. All right. So I loved that they set themselves apart from GTA. So it was good for them to do that. And then, now with the newest one, they went, too far in the change and it didn't even feel like a Saints Row game, which goes into the thing. A game should feel like what it is supposed to be. Saints Row has a feel. The newest one didn't feel like Saints Row. But at the same time, if I'm playing, Saints Row shouldn't feel like GTA either because you have GTA. It should be a standalone thing. So I don't want to play Starfield and think I'm playing freaking Fallout. It's not Fallout.
Well,
it's
it's not
Starfield.
Fallout, no.
It has to be its own thing.
We're talking about one mechanic. One mechanic feels like the same, but it's not the same. But it's obviously a next evolution of what they did before. One mechanic.
I'm gonna jump in here to the same but different part talk with one of my favorite developers from software. Everybody knows I love my Souls games.
That's where I was going to go to.
So you have the Dark Souls formula, the dodge mechanic, if you will, right? You got to have some epic dodges to play Dark Souls. But then they put out a little game called Sekiro, Game of the Year 2019. And dodge went out the window. You couldn't dodge. You had to parry. They switched it up just enough to make it different and you had to develop a different set of skills. But it still had the same sort of Dark Souls, quick reaction, hard as heck bosses, and you needed to be perfect for 2 to 3 minutes at a time, right? And it still had that Dark Souls feel where even the lowest of the lowest bad guy, the peon that you could one-shot, if you weren't careful, could kill you, right? Very Dark Soulish, right? And then you have Elden Ring, which basically took Dark Souls, infused it with I don't know, growth hormone, and it turned out to be the greatest Dark Souls game ever made. It was very Dark Soulish, but on a much grander scale with traversal and all that stuff and seamless. Now I'm going to jump into Starfield, right? So I love my Elder Scrolls. You know I do. I'm okay with Fallout, but I love my Elder Scrolls. And having played Starfield, the thing that disappointed me the most was that it was not seamless. It was still very, load into your ship, load into the planet, load into the building that you're walking into, load into this, load into that. That should have iterated to be more seamless. Like if it loaded the planet, I get it. But once you get in the planet, everything should have been seamless, in my opinion. Right? And that's upsetting to me. Like when you jump to another planet, it would have been okay if you would have stayed in a jump, I don't know, like a warp tube, a wormhole tunnel until the planet loaded and you come out of it and you choose to land on it, whatever, right? I feel that Starfield missed an opportunity to be seamless. I think that would have been great iteration on the feel of Bethesda games, if you will. Now, does Starfield feel like a Bethesda game? Absolutely, 100%. All the stories are there the same. All the quests are there the same. They're more interesting than ever. I feel that they've iterated on their storytelling. I'm definitely enjoying Starfield a whole lot more than I enjoyed Fallout, in my opinion. Not because Fallout is a terrible game or anything, guys. Fallout is fantastic. I'm just more of an Elder Scrolls guy. That's all. Okay. But the iterations need to happen. You don't need to completely, go from from rock and roll to reggaeton to be different. But you do, in my opinion, you do need to iterate on what you do and what you do well. And I do feel that Starfield iterated on what Bethesda does and does well, but I do feel that it stayed a little too much the same with the loading screens. Now, with that being said, every time, as Dreadpool pointed out, every planet is the size of Fallout. That's awesome. I landed on a random North Pole with nothing, not anything there, just to see what would happen. And I got Borealis.
Aurora Borealis.
Or Aurora Borealis. I don't know what they're called, clouds or whatever, but whatever. I got Borealis, right? On a random planet. And that was cool. That was cool. There's nothing to do, but it was cool to see. So the vistas are still unmatched. And I think that from a visual perspective and an awe perspective, Starfield has me and awing more than any other game has from Bethesda. Because while Skyrim was amazing with oohs and ahs, they were all scripted events. Oohs and ahs when the dragon comes in. Oohs and ahs when you kill your first dragon. Oohs and ahs when you turn into a werewolf and stuff. But those were events that you were part of. Starfield does it differently. Starfield is oohs and ahs to the environment. I'm boarding this guy's ship and the gravity goes in and out. That's awesome, right? It does it a little differently, and I think it is a good iteration, especially for the type of storytelling that Bethesda does. Because with that dragon, I'm just going to go right back to Skyrim. With that dragon, if you did the right thing, that dragon would load, and you could kill it without ever seeing its face. And the grandeur might be lost. You could kill it without ever letting it spew fire, and the grandeur would be lost. It was more event-based ooh and ah, and the perspective mattered. In Starfield, the perspective doesn't matter, and you still get that ooh and ah. So I do believe that their storytelling has evolved. But Terry is right that it's just another Bethesda game. The story's structure is the same. The conversation structure is the same. The choices are the same. And you do get the same consequences that you would in other games. Like your followers could die and they are dead, unless they're super important to the story. Obviously, then they're invincible, right?
They had that in Fallout as well. But again, there's nothing wrong with taking traits from a game. My issue is if they take too many, it just feels like a reskin. And
this one's definitely not a it doesn't feel like a reskin. I can tell you that. I
haven't played this one yet, but I'm gonna pick out Outer Worlds. Okay. I hated it because that felt like a reskin. All right. I hated it.
I loved it.
I was like, this is Fallout. This is Fallout in space. I freaking hated Outer Worlds because they didn't do anything to really set themselves apart and give themselves their own, their own branding other than they just reskinned it. And I absolutely hated the companions because they were all worthless and it was just annoying. But
Pavardi? Come on.
Oh man.
No, she was annoying as heck.
Just wait till we get Avowed. Oh no.
So it just
no. I
don't want to reskin.
My point of this argument really it went left. My point is the fact that he's complaining about it here, where it's a exclusive game, and he's and where Skyrim and Fallout, those games, even though he liked those mechanics, he loved them for what they did, and yet here he calls it out that he doesn't like it. So my thing is I'm calling him out for his hypocrisy, just like the hypocrisy that this game is exclusive, but he didn't call out any hypocrisy about Spider-Man 2 being exclusive. That's really what I'm calling out.
And his Twitter feeds, he did call that out.
When it comes to a review, exclusive shouldn't matter. You're grading the game by what the game is. So if he's
you should be.
If he's nitpicking because it's exclusive, then that doesn't make any sense because that shouldn't even be a factor in your review because who cares what system it's on? Does it play well for the system? That's all that matters. But
each one should earn its merits is what I'm getting at. That's why I say yes. I am leaning my preference towards Xbox, but overall I'm a gamer, not an Xbox fan. I'm a gamer. And that's what I think that more reviewers need to be when it comes to this. They should not put their preferences and use it to push their narrative, you know.
Okay,
And
so
that's
So Dan
You-
Stapleton did talk about the Spider-Man exclusive. Someone pointed out, oh, we didn't hear you complaining about Spider-Man going exclusive when all the previous games have been multi-platform, blah, blah, blah. And his response was, nothing's stopping Microsoft from going to Disney and dropping a bag to make get Spider-Man on Xbox.
no,
And by that same token, nothing stopped Sony from going to ZeniMax and dropping $8 billion to make Starfield.
Oh, there's a lot stopping that. Sony doesn't have that much money.
It's very hypocritical. So I agree with Dreadpool and the hypocrisy.
I can see there being hypocrisy in certain elements that you pulled out, but I disagree with. I feel like you can envision what you think a score is, and then when you start doing the breakdown, you can actually see what it actually is, and you can be like, it could be higher or lower than what you imagined it to be. I don't see that as being hypocritical.
But that's why I don't like scores. I like
again I said that scores are subjective. So
right. That's why I like my variation of it, which is Mena, which is it's good, meh, you know what, you might like it, you might not, or meh, or nah, and just pass on it, right? So and that's the way I think it should be. It should be, I like it, and I think you should play it, or it was all right, you might like it, you might not, or definitely stay away from it, in my opinion, and that's it. But there shouldn't be those numbers, because a lot of people are putting numbers like when you go to school, a 90 is a passing grade.
Yes, we associate 7s.
Well, not anymore. It's not.
Yeah, we associate 7s with
you don't
a
want to see what you don't want to see what the scoring system is for kids nowadays. It's like it's atrocious.
Yeah, but
like you can basically, what is it? I think you can get like a 30%, and that's still passing with like a C. Wow, like it's stupid. But I do want to put in that, when it comes to like reviews and bias, you can be genuine, and you could still be attacked because you're not following in line with everybody else. So like if everybody is raving about how this game is and giving it like 9s, and then you give it a 7, and you're being 100% genuine, people are going to attack you. Just like if everybody hates the game and then you like it, everyone's going to attack you. Because I want to use Anthem as a perfect example of this. I loved that game. That's one of the most hated games ever made, is Anthem. And because I loved it, everybody's going to come out of the woodwork and talk about how I'm not a true gamer. I have no taste. I don't know what I'm talking about, because I genuinely loved that game. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how genuine you are. Like if you are not hitting the main crowd, you're going to be attacked. So if everyone loves it and you hate it, you're attacked. Everybody hates it and you love it, you're attacked. And I think that's what's going to happen with Starfield. Is everybody thinks that this, even before they had hands on this game, everybody already had it in their mindset that this was going to be the best game ever. And so, the moment someone started hating on it, they get attacked.
You're damn right, Terry. You're damn right. I had prejudged this game.
Here's
I have not been hyped for this game at all. I legitimately had people. Okay, I predominantly play RPGs. I legitimately had people calling me out saying that I'm not a true RPG player because I have no interest in Starfield. Like, why do I have to like Starfield to be an RPG gamer? Like, it's just stupid BS. All right, so no, it's just dumb. Like, oh, you're not an Xbox gamer. I have like triple the gamer score than you do. Okay, fine. I'm not an Xbox gamer. I play every single RPG under the sun, but I guess I'm not an RPG gamer either because I don't like one particular one. You're gonna tell me you like every single game in a genre? No, you freaking don't. All right, it's just stupid. So that this man wants to give it a 7, let him give it a freaking 7. All right, like who cares?
Well, if he didn't care for the game, why did he even bother reviewing it? Give it to somebody else.
He did care for it. He literally went over things that he got immersed in the game and he enjoyed. So he did care for it.
But you're saying no.
He did point out that he's predominantly PC and doesn't really do too many reviews for console. So that's where I would argue that maybe they should have gave him the PC copy, and then maybe he would have been swayed a little differently based on that, because maybe he just doesn't like playing with a controller. And a controller and a keyboard is going to greatly affect someone's experience playing a game based on what you like. Like, I do not like playing with keyboard. And I bet you if I played a game I love on console and then played it with a keyboard, I'm gonna freaking hate it. And it's the same freaking
I have to
game.
agree with
Okay.
Terry's statement.
No, but that's
So-
fine. I
Input
like
matters.
Anthem also. Anthem has the best Iron Man flight situation. That is 100%.
and
That's
it
what I
looks
said.
fantastic.
The flag mechanic on Anthem is perfect for Iron Man. If they were to take that and incorporate that into Iron Man, you can make an Iron Man game no problem. You know, but that was and that was the problem. Not everybody hated Anthem. The fact that Anthem didn't get support, didn't get optimized properly. I mean, you're looking at how big that the maps were with what they had and how long that it took to load. You know, and granted, I had an NVMe hooked up to my Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And they did
So
fix
my
that.
load
That
time,
was-
I was waiting on people.
That was
waiting on people.
definitely an issue when the game first started. I will agree to that, but they did fix that, and you know, it's one of those things that even after they fixed it,
I was still playing it when the last guy that was working on it, the last guy keeping it alive before he got yoked out of it, I was still playing Anthem then.
Yeah.
So that has no bearings. Starfield, I was never interested in this game, right? I was happy that my friends were getting this game, and same thing with Avowed, not really feeling it. But as time went on, I said, you know what? I'm still enjoying watching the videos, watching these breakdowns. I'm getting more and more interested in it. Wasn't hyped for it. I'm still not hyped for it, but I'm enjoying what I played. I went ahead and said, you know what? Let me pay that $30 and not only have early access, I'm getting all the extra bells and whistles on top of the Game Pass.
Now Dreadpool's triggering me.
But you see what I'm saying? I'm the guy that didn't care for this.
Right.
And I'm saying, oh, okay, it's just like another Bethesda style game. If you're not used to Bethesda style games, yes, it's going to be a slow burn for the first 6 to 10 hours until you get into the rhythm.
More than that, I don't know how true it is because I haven't played it myself, but from what I've heard, you got to play like 20 hours of like story or something before the game officially starts. Like that's
that's different. That's different.
That's dumb.
Hey guys, let me jump in real quick here. Let me do some shout outs because the chat is escaping me. Dark Zone 2525 joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. He says IGN definitely hates Microsoft and Xbox, and it's obvious. Yeah. Let's see. Dark Zone again says, I never buy game by the scores it gets. I buy games if it interests me or if a game is recommended to me. Yeah, it happens.
I'm the
Scott
same
Free
way.
joins us. He says, yeah, it happens a lot. Shout out to Scott Free. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. And let's see. And everybody's loving the Anthem. Yeah, Anthem had a tight gameplay.
I love that game.
Tight gameplay, except for when stuff wouldn't load.
Which they fixed pretty quickly.
He says, have y'all not dumped 20 hours into it yet?
I haven't even freaking played it.
My only complaint is that it doesn't have vehicles to use on planet. Yeah, rovers would be awesome. I bet it's going to come in an add-on. Not a mod, but like an official add-on, as I feel Starfield is a whole new universe.
It'll probably be a mod too. PC's probably already on it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to do some shout-outs. Keep going, guys. Keep going.
Yeah, but that's the thing is I, the unlikely person to actually like this game, know how Bethesda games are and had a good time playing it to the point where I wanted to, and that's why I'm saying 6 to 10 hours to learn the mechanics and get into the groove. I'm going to go back and start over now that I have an understanding of it, because I just want to spend a few hours on it to figure out how I wanted to play this. I didn't want to go in and get locked in with my character, right? Some people just go in and they already know what they want. This, and yes, it takes about 20 hours, depending on how fast you're going through the storyline and how lost you get into the side quests and just exploration. It could take you 50, 60, 100 hours before you even move on to the next spot where you actually do the real story. So that's not it. It's just the fact that it is what it is. And I think people are taking it way too serious where they, because I know it's a slow burn and people are not used to it. Just like Baldur's Gate 3. People are not used to that style of game. And a lot of people got into the hype over it and bought the game and then found out that that's not the type of game that they
And that
want
it's
to
hard
play.
as hell.
Yeah, it's not what they thought it was going to be.
The FOMO, baby, the FOMO.
And that's the same thing here. The FOMO can mislead you, and I wasn't misled.
You got to skip this. I'm going to get triggered again. I don't want to see you.
Just don't look, Terry. Just don't look.
Ah!
Pet your cat. Pet your cat. Pet your emotional support cat.
Again, I wasn't misled in my own thoughts. I know how Bethesda games are, and that's the problem. Yes, there are certain things, like it would have been nice to have a vehicle to drive around in as opposed to doing all the walking. You would think that after you build up a ship to a certain point, and who knows, maybe that'll be brought in. Who knows? Maybe they are listening and they took a vehicle out and said, you know what, maybe once you get to this part of the story, we'll allow the vehicle to be placed in there.
That was one of like the best things that Mass Effect did, you could go and you could take the Mako and drive around on a planet, like, come on, like, people want to
wait a second. Mass Effect was the same thing, but they improved it each time and did it differently because the original Mass Effect wasn't like the second one, wasn't like the third. Oh, and then Andromeda. Let's talk about Andromeda. You see, this is what I'm getting at. Is you don't want to go
that's the same
too
franchise.
far.
I'm talking about a franchise being exactly the same as another franchise. I'm not talking about a game within a franchise feeling that I would expect a game in a franchise to feel like that game in that franchise. That's expected. Like if I'm playing,
but
I don't know. I say Fallout 5 comes out, I would expect it to feel like Fallout because it's Fallout. But I don't want Fallout to feel. I don't want it to be a reskin. Like I don't want to play this and be like I'm just playing Fallout with a reskin. Because Bethesda, I love Bethesda. I play all of the Fallout games. I played the Elder Scrolls games. I know what I'm expecting. Majority of the games I play, I have to put over 100 hours in, so I'm used to that slow burn. I know what I'm expecting, and I know Bethesda, being Bethesda, they're going to freaking reskin their stuff because they always take stuff from their games and they just rehash it and throw it right back in the other game and they throw a different skin on it. They do it all the freaking time. All right, and that stuff is what triggers me because they're not building anything new. They're like, you know what, this stuff worked in this game, so we're gonna put it in this game. You know what, it worked on that game, so you know what, we're gonna also put it in this game, and we're just gonna keep reusing the same freaking crap for 20 games. And I hate it. I freaking hate when Bethesda does that. And I also hate that Bethesda is lazy in the fact that they always depend on the mod community to make their games great because they will always make their games just good enough to where people can enjoy themselves. But everything else is dependent on the mod community to fix because they know that they can just get free labor and have everybody else just make their games great. And then they take all the credit for having Skyrim selling, 20 freaking iterations over 2 decades and then profiting off of it when it was the mod community that made that game great. So screw Bethesda on that crap.
All right. So Terry doesn't like Bethesda. Let's talk to someone who does like Bethesda, and that's me. Right. So I immediately knew that this was going to be, as they called it, Skyrim in space or Fallout in space. That's exactly what I wanted. So there was no misleading, there was no false advertising, nothing like that, right? They straight said it, Skyrim in space. So I wanted Skyrim in space, and what I got was Skyrim in space. And when everybody's talking about, oh, this game is such a slow burn in the beginning, has not played Red Dead Redemption 2. Don't talk to me about slow burns unless you played Red Dead Redemption 2. And by the way, I loved Red Dead Redemption 2. I thought it should have won Game of the Year that year. So I'm okay with the slow burns if the story backs it up.
Yes.
Right? And so the Starfield story so far is backing it up. The discovery, there's so much in this universe that they built, so many mechanics that you have to learn to maximize your enjoyment in the game. Yeah, I hate crafting. I'm not gonna craft a damn thing in this game. I'm just telling you straight up. I am not crafting a weapon. I'm not crafting a medical anything. I'm not cooking food. I'm not doing any
Oh
of that.
yeah, I hate
Okay.
doing that stuff too.
Now I will probably build a base, and if I like it enough, I'll build more. I do enjoy my base building. Being a fan of RTSs, obviously I love base building, right? And shipbuilding, I may or may not build a ship. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't see why I should build what I can steal. Just saying, because I can get other people's ships. So I may not build ships, but that doesn't mean it's not there for people who use it. It's there, right? And that's the best part about Bethesda games is that it's there. If you want it, it's there, right? And then but did I want Starfield in space? Absolutely, I did. And the vistas, I knew that the vistas were going to be the main thing for me in this game, and they have not disappointed me at all. Even the lifeless vistas, just the fact that every lifeless planet has a, if it doesn't have an atmosphere, you're just going to be staring up at space from a rock. But if it has an atmosphere or 20% atmosphere or whatever, you're going to be looking at that same view differently, or the type of star it has. Like, oh, some of them can be white dwarfs, some of them can be yellow dwarfs, like our sun is. Our sun is a white sun. Stuff like that. You got your Beetlejuice red giants and stuff like that. That is so cool to me, and that's exactly what I wanted. So I am under no delusion of expecting this game to be anything other than it is. I immediately knew, but this game is for me, not for Terry, for me, right? Now Terry's probably going to play this on Game Pass to check it out, just to see what all the hoopla is about.
I do want to try it, and I've said many times that I want the game to change my mind.
I don't think
I want it. I want it to impress me. I want to get immersed in it, but I'm very familiar with Bethesda, and I'm expecting a lot of reskin stuff happening in this game. They already, they already showed it when they did that one, when they were doing that one, I think it was the Bethesda showcase where they showed that stupid character, the fan character. It's like the most hated.
The
It's
fan
like
that's
literally
been in
my
every one of
most.
their games.
It's one of my
I think
most
that's
hated
awesome.
characters. It's one of my most hated characters, and they keep putting it in every game.
Yeah, in Fallout, the obsessed fan was a robot. I remember
I hate
that.
it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. The
Yeah.
fact that it's in there again, I just want it. The game's a shooter. If he runs up on me, I want to be able to shoot him in the face and just keep going. I don't even want him to say one word to me. I do not want anything to do with that NPC. Nothing. Like, worst thing they could put back in the game. Stop rehashing that crap.
I love it. I love it. I love it when there's a running joke. I love that. I love running jokes. But
it has to be a good running joke, not an annoying one. He's
hilarious
so
running
annoying.
joke.
He's so annoying.
He even says the same words.
Which is
They're just
laziness.
updated for-
That just makes it lazy that they just took the same dialogue and put it back in. They didn't even make
Oh my
it
God.
seem
I love
like
it.
a
I love it.
completely doomed person. Like, come on. Like, that's
I love it.
terrible.
Could it be an homage?
Shout out to Lost Boomer. Shout out to Lost Boomer. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. You are the real MVP. Dark Zone says, last night I made a space outpost on Earth. Yeah, I'm still haven't checked out Earth. I'm gonna go check it out here soon.
I don't know. I've seen Earth. I don't think I want to check that out.
He says, I hope Elvis shows up at the end of the game, Dreadpool. Yeah. And I am Space Condro. I'm playing like Han Solo. And Lost Boomer says, I keep living with my shit with no suit on. No, you don't. You can't live without your suit on, can you? I don't know. I don't think you can.
He's
I guess
walking
you
out
could
with his
unequip
tidy
it.
whities.
I guess you could unequip it. Is the only way.
Maybe, yeah. I would. It's an RPG.
I
I would
100%
imagine
agree
you
with
could take all your
Splendiferous
gear
here.
off, right?
He says, but we, the Bethesda fans, love that stuff, Mrs. Cool Cat.
Not all of us love that stuff.
But we, the Bethesda fans, do.
I am a Bethesda fan.
Doesn't
that
sound
doesn't
like
mean
it.
I can't call
You
out
sound very
other
Dan
BS.
Stapleton-ish right there about
No,
your fan
I mean,
is.
I feel a fan should be able to call out BS when they see it. Like, I love Xbox, but I can call out when Xbox flubs
Yeah,
up.
that's true.
All right. So Bethesda flubs up quite a bit, but I still enjoy their games. But man, they like the flub. All right.
What I can tell you is that right now Starfield doesn't feel like it needs mods to me. Like, I think the main mod PC modders have done is the DLSS mod for PC.
They've added Seinfeld
DLSS.
characters into
What
the
is it?
game. Seinfeld.
Oh, well, That's just fun.
They-
That's
they've
just fun.
done
That has
that.
nothing to do with completely
So-
fixing the
Yeah, that's
game.
not gonna
No.
fix the game.
Yeah.
That's
It has
not-
to do with fixing the game, but I'm
Yeah,
sure
but the
that they would
DLSS,
be-
I think, is the
That's a
first one
different
that
type
fixes
of
the game.
entertainment.
They'll probably add vehicles though. I would expect they'll add vehicles.
I can see that happening, and I hope they do.
What-
you know,
what
and
they do.
hopefully, Bethesda will add vehicles soon themselves because they should. But
So modders
the-
modded Starfield to be about space, about nothing.
what? Oh, Starfield. I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Space about nothing. Get it?
yeah, the space
about
about nothing. Yeah, because it's the show about nothing. Yeah, I remember that.
Put on
I don't
books.
personally, I think Starfield is the dumbest show I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I never got into it. I don't get. I never
but,
found it
you know,
funny.
I hear some
never-
people really love it, but whatever.
That show went on a very long time, so.
But hey, it was popular.
it
But
was
no,
definitely-
having played this game, I can tell you that it is Bethesda's best game so far. It is certainly better than Skyrim when it initially launched. It is certainly better than Fallout when it initially launched. It is a more complete launch title than I've seen in a long time. Are there going to be bugs and glitches? Pff, of course. They could work on this game for another 20 years and there'll still be bugs and glitches. You know? Just saying. So the one thing I'll tell you, the shooting feels good. The only thing is that it feels like every enemy is a bullet sponge. Like, look how many bullets it takes to take one down. A whole magazine.
That one gun reminded me so much of
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
It just takes way
looked like
too
they took
long.
it from that game. It really did.
It just takes way too long. But hey, you know, whatever. That's how they want to play their game. That's fine. I guess I just gotta, you know, stab people a lot more than I should, or choose I have to choose which conflicts I want to take part of. I can't just go in there and start blazing a trail, if you will.
That was also one of the complaints, was too many bugs in space.
Too many bugs in space. Oh yeah, that all the life looked like bugs.
Yeah. I mean, what else are they supposed to look like? Not everything's going to be humanoid.
Well, you know,
even
Mammalian would have been a little better.
Even within
know
our
what?
planet, we have a huge variety, and bugs
Do they have the
still
blob?
outnumber us.
Do they have the blob? There's got to be at least one planet or moon that has a blob like that. I just want to see it looks like a puddle, and then it comes up and it's a blob, and it comes out. No, they need to have at least one blob.
I'm sure they do.
You gotta have one blob.
I'm sure they do. I haven't discovered it yet, but you know, there's 1,000 worlds
No.
for me to explore.
I'm looking for the planet with the giant Amazons.
Gotta,
You know, the
they gotta
cool thing about this
dig
game
deep into the
is-
sci-fi roots. Okay, where's the blob?
The cool thing about this game is the whole, you know, gravity aspect of it, the whole atmosphere aspect of it, the fact that time runs based on the star you're on and the rotation of the planet you're on. It is so cool. It has a lot of, like, if you're into space like I am, it's really neat. This has been like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, elite, not elite. What is that? Star Citizen is a space sim. Yeah, but it's not done, and it's like the most expensive game ever, and it's still not done.
Yeah, I think
and
the
I don't think
gravity
it'll ever
thing
be
is
done.
like the gravity is a good feature. That's one Borderlands, the pre-sequel, they had the gravity because they were on like a moon or whatever, and I like that feature. So the fact that they iterated that in here is a good thing.
You know,
It helps you. It immerses you more in the fact that you're in outer space. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the
And
one
also-
thing that really gets me for Bethesda games, and I do it every single time, every single Bethesda game I do, overburdened.
Yes. Oh my God, the overburden. You have to invest into fitness. You must. Until you get a companion, then I give my companion everything because you cannot overburden them. So I use them as
Yep, that's the way to do it in all the
backpack.
Bethesda games. Definitely, you know,
Yeah,
you
I'm
treat your best friend you mistreat as a pack mule. So,
I'm picking up pencils and notepads. I mean, I don't know how many notepads I've picked up, and I was like, man, I thought I'd be picking up sandwiches, but no, notepads. Apparently that's my thing.
Maybe.
And then
maybe
I'm
you just love
overburdened
taking
with
space notes.
notepads.
So
they-
I was going to say something about the planets and then. Oh, the other game it gets compared to a lot is No Man's Sky, and I can tell you right now, as a day one No Man's Sky guy, no way is this game like day one No Man's Sky is. Is No Man's Sky now, 10 years later, a better game? Absolutely it is. Hello Games has done a fantastic job on No Man's Sky, but because of that first impression, am I going back to it? Hell no, I'm not. Hell
Yeah,
no.
I definitely
If I'll
hated
cover,
No
I am
Man's
not
Sky.
going back to No Man's Sky because the gameplay loop doesn't intrigue me.
Mm-hmm.
Go to a planet, harvest some resources so you can refuel your ship and travel. Go to a planet, harvest some resources so you
It
can
needs more story. Like I know they
Yeah,
added
it's story,
combat
but
and
that's
other
not the
stuff,
point
but
of
like
the game. The
you
point
know,
of the game is
just
to get to the center of the universe, right?
yeah, it's just
And
farm resources.
farm resources. The gameplay loop to me is pointless. Like if I was just gonna do the main story in No Man's Sky, I don't need to do any trading. I don't need to do any side questing. I don't need to do any spaceports. I don't need any of that. I just refuel my ship. I don't need to build outposts. I don't need to build ship. I just refuel my ship and keep jumping. The gameplay loop of No Man's Sky is boring and I hate it, and that's why I didn't like it. I was very let down. But this game, the gameplay loop is the story and everything you're gonna encounter in it, and it is so much better for me, right? If I wanted to do side quests like I can in No Man's Sky, guess what? I can do side quests here too. Bada bing, bada boom. The big advantage No Man's Sky has is that it's completely seamless. Again, that is my main complaint on this game, is that I really thought Bethesda would make this seamless, or at least a little bit more seamless. But I feel that they didn't. So to me, that holds the game down to a 9 so far. That's my first impression. That's just my first impression again. So we'll see where it goes. Let's check it with the chat real quick. Dark Zone 2525 says it's definitely better than how Fallout 76 came out. By Fallout 76 is a much better game now. Not on launch. Yeah, definitely better than Fallout 76 launch. I need to finish up the Terramorph story. It seems like it's going to be interesting. Yeah, that initial story seems awesome. And I'm not going to ruin it for you. Splendifer says, we don't want stuff from other games coming to this game, Terry.
I did not say that.
Iconic video games. Have you noticed the star map that you can see the level of the systems? I have not. I'll have to look again. Let's see. I'm curious to know how much Mass Effect influenced the game design in Starfield. The only way to know that is to talk to the devs. Maybe reach out on Twitter or something, if they will give you the time.
Not enough. They would add cars, vehicles.
Yeah.
There would be more people to have intercourse with. Let's see.
That's going to get modded in. It's fine.
Star Citizen never coming out. I feel sorry for the people who keep supporting that game because I believe they're being taken for fools. Yeah, I agree. Lost Boomer, I see what you're saying. It's funny, but I'm not going to put it on here. Thank you so much, though. Timothy McDonald. Shout out to Timothy McDonald. Thank you so much for joining us. You are the real MVP. It seems like just another space game. No, this is Bethesda in space. So again, this is an RPG, so it does not play like an FPS. There is, Y is jump instead of switch weapons.
Oh,
if you want to switch weapons quick, you got to add them to your favorite. So it's very, very different game. It plays very different. It's an RPG first.
Does it have key binding? Can you change your layout?
You can custom map every button in this game.
Awesome. Okay, then then we're good then, because that'll bother me.
Even if you couldn't do it in the game, you could do it on the Xbox. You can custom, but
you can do it in the game.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Even if you couldn't do it in the game, you can do it via the Xbox.
Yeah, using the
device controller.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't like doing that because I don't want to unmap it for another game or keep loading maps. I just want to think.
Well, no, you can make a profile for that. So you just switch it and say
exactly, but that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to be.
Yeah, I would rather just be able to do it in the game itself.
Well, I'd rather do it in the game as well and have it remember. But yeah. Anyways, any closing thoughts on? Wow, Dan Stapleton, look what you did to my crew.
I really hope. I really hope.
Dan Stapleton is that his bias shows, and the fact that he denies it is upsetting. And as we said, we all have biases. It's okay. Just admit it.
I think everybody who has bias, is not going to admit it. That's the whole point.
No, I'll admit it.
I am 100% biased towards Xbox. But that doesn't mean I don't like PlayStation or especially Nintendo. Everybody knows I like Nintendo. But
just be honest.
if two console makers go out of business and one stays, I prefer Xbox stay. Just being honest. Right? And I hope they don't go out of business. I think competition is fantastic. I'm just saying.
Well, no, we need competition.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I only had enough money for one thing, for one console, one gaming platform, it would be Xbox. And that's just the way it is. I'm an adult now, obviously. Now older, I can buy my own consoles. I don't have to beg my parents for it. So I have the luxury of owning all the consoles. But if I was younger, back in the day, it was either Sega or Nintendo. I chose Sega. First I chose Nintendo because it was the only game in town. Then I chose Sega. And by the time Xbox came out, I was an adult and I could enjoy everything. So yeah, it's just, if I had one choice, it would be Xbox. So I am 100% biased towards Xbox. But yeah, Dan Stapleton, I think the thing we have been saying for a long time is that IGN's bias at a systemic level shows, and they won't admit it. And it's also upsetting as Xbox fans that Xbox keeps giving them these, IGN first game previews and exclusive interviews and all this other stuff, but they treat, as an Xbox fan, they don't treat Xbox with the level of respect they should, in my opinion. And again, Dan Stapleton, it's okay to be biased. It's cool. Just saying. Admit it. Just admit it. So yeah.
Can you change the watch cosmetic? Like as you get
No.
more gear, does the watch change how it looks?
It does not.
Oh, lame. It's not gonna match my suit. It's gonna clash.
Let's see. Splendifer says that he tagged me in a Starfield relationship post on Twitter. Can you play it real quick? Let me see if I can see your notification here. It hasn't come through, so I don't know why the tag didn't come. DM it to me. DM it to me, and I'll look it over and see if I can play it in the time we have left. So yeah. DE says, I keep hearing some length of time, but not a milestone. Whatever happens, changes in the game. Yeah. I keep hearing that too, that if you rush through the story through your first playthrough, that spoiler happens and it makes the second playthrough much more enjoyable. So New Game Plus. So we'll see. We'll see if I'm going to play this game 2 times through or not. Depends how long it is. Because I do get distracted by side missions. I really, really, really do.
I'm the same way.
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts on Starfield, guys?
I want it to impress me. I hope it does. I'll find out on the 11th because that'll be the earliest I'll be able to play it. So I gotta wait. I got a ways to wait yet.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It'll impress you. You'll be like, ooh and space. Ooh and stars.
You'll be pleasantly disappointed.
Well, I guess if
it will make you love God Howard even more.
Because the game, you'll be pleasantly disappointed. No, I'm kidding. You never know. You never know. It's like we've talked about before. Certain games that you're hyped for, it just doesn't hit, and then certain games that you never would have played.
Yep, hit. That's what I'm hoping for.
So you never know, and that's why we like talking about these things.
I would rather go into a game with no interest and then it blow me away than to be excited and then it disappoints. So
yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that it's immersive and the companions are, entertaining, because some of these games are hit or miss. Some of these games have amazing companions that you love them and stuff, and you want to see them continue their stories in other games. And then some of these games have companions that you want to kill them all yourself. So I just hope they have really good companions.
I'm sure they will. All right. Splendiferous, I have no idea what's happening between you and I. I don't think I have.
I can't even find it myself.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't see you where you are. But with that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the show right there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what you saw. Again, don't forget to tune into the Iconic Video Games podcast every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern here on the Iconic Video Games channel. But guys, we wouldn't be able to have this show and do what we do without you guys, the chat. And that's why you guys, the chat, will always be the MVP to any of the shows we do here. And with that being said, we are going to get out of here. I'm Axel1324.
I'm Cool Cat Terry.
And I'm Dreadpool.
We'll catch you guys next